Welcome to the Nature's Image Farm podcast. We're glad you're here. I'm Greg.
And I'm Susan. And together we're raising 7 kids on the farm and learning life lessons along the way.
So pull up a chair, rest your heels, and let's talk all things bees, homesteading, and the old-time ways.
Let's get after it.
Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Nature's Image Farm podcast and stream team and Hive Life recap. And I feel like my brain is absolutely a pile of goo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you quite recovered yet from Hive Life?
I'm a lump of mashed potatoes.
That's what it feels like. Man, we're looking forward to kind of sharing a lot with you and having some fun. Our pals Bruce, Jenny, and Brian Koper will be on shortly. And we also have some special guests going to jump on tonight too. Were you at Hive Life? Let's see in the comments here. If you're at Hive Life, put in the comments there, Hive Life. Looks like we got some shout outs here. a lot of comments. Let me, you'll have to forgive us if we're not getting all the comments. They're blowing by so quick. But we've got Ed, son of one, Curtis Winters. Good to see you in there, buddy. Johnny's Bees. Grayson over at Wild Woods Honeybee Farms. We've got let's see, so many cool folks in here. I'm looking forward to sharing some of their stories. It's going to be neat, kind of sharing what they're up to. We got Wayne's Bees. Looks like Wayne's Bees has a name upgrade. Looks like, hi everyone, I'm changing my name to Weiner Bees. There are too many Waynes out there. That's a good call. One of the neat things about the Hive Life conference is when you go around, you see everyone's name tags, and then you feel like you know them, and then they say, "Oh yeah, my YouTube channel is thus and such." And you're like, "Oh, cool, okay." Well, then you need to start scribbling the YouTube channel names on there. So good to see you. We've got oh man, I got a whole bunch of folks. We got Sourwood Branch Bee Farm. How's it going? Terry Bishop. Oh, we got Granny Terry Bishop on there. Granny was watching the kids.
Super
Granny at the water park. So that was cool. S&J, Honey, Steve, and Jane. Oh, we got locals. We got Hopewell, Ohio representing. So now we got to be careful. If Steve and Jane and Susie and Greg are all on the internet at the same time, it might get wild. That'd be pretty cool. Lee at Kodiak. Hey, Lee, how's it going? It was good to finally meet you at the Hive Life there. I wish we had more time to catch up, but I enjoyed shaking your hand there and saying hi. Darren Cap, good to see you. Robert Souther Jr., nice to see you. Joe Rawls, that's another name that was cool to see so many times. Joseph Rawls, so it was good seeing you there at the Hive Live conference. It's awesome to be able to put people's faces to the names. Yep. Yeah, that's really cool. We got Outdoor Staycations from Newport, Tennessee. How's it going? Don Summers. That was pretty cool seeing her and Chris and Natalee everywhere. They were really working hard up front, keeping everyone out of jail and making sure everything was running smooth. I'm sure they're probably whipped too. A couple more. Don Bearden. Good seeing you in there too. Alhambra Orchard and Apiary. Nice to see you. Mr. John Lawler, Shekinah Honeyworks man himself. Nice to see you in here tonight. That bee man at Faith Apiaries. Hey, good to see you in here tonight. Sweet Harlan Honeybees, good to see you in here too. Zachary Gelman, Grammy's midwife, nice to see you. We didn't get enough time to visit with all the people.
I got to visit with her.
You did? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and her husband.
I always felt bad because there were so many people, so little time, and I was just like, I kind of felt disappointed in myself that I couldn't get to
second place, but they want to talk to you, but that's okay. They talk to me too.
Mr. Mark McCaffrey, Billy Johnson. Oh, Keith Spillman, Half Tracks and Honeybees. It was great seeing him and his wife there I got to go out and see them and see. I mean, I want to see them too, but you know who I really want to see? Oh, Bertha, big Bertha. I'm going to go out and check that out. Hail Hives, good to see you. Jonathan Bennett, our fellow podcasters and homesteaders, Rockbridge Farmstead, good to see you. I'll give our pal Stan Gore from Texas Friendly Beekeepers. Nice to see you there tonight. We've got Jason over at Hickory Hives tuning in. Honeystone Farm, Phil Simmons, Mark Booth, our buddy Be Original Tennessee Tim, Rancho Ray. Oh, and I got to give a special shout out to Randy and his son Doug, Trails End Farm. They were such an incredible help at the last hour, getting us all packed up, getting us back in the truck.
We could not have done it without their help. That was awesome.
I was dragging, and they knew it, and they stepped right in to help. I really appreciate them. Brad Hutchins, it was nice to finally meet you. And that's awesome. Jason Hughes, Loma Vista Beco. Now, Todd Prater, you're going to have to get out of the state of California, and you're going to have to come out one of these times and see us. Hooterville Honeybees, Michelle Spillman. Who else? Looks like Southeast Homestead, Mitchell Tangway. Oh, our buddy Charlie Vance, West Virginia Hillbilly Honey. That is going to be cool in West Virginia in March. We've got the honor of speaking at the Mountaineers Beekeepers Association spring meeting, the West Virginia Beekeepers Association spring meeting. Really looking forward to that. That is absolutely
from where we're located. They are just a hop, skip, and jump.
It's so, and I mean, it's West Virginia.
Yeah.
Probably. I know we're in Ohio, but I don't feel like I got to go out on a limb to say I think West Virginia is the most beautiful state in the entire country.
Well, Tennessee's pretty fancy too.
How about that corner where they collide?
That
I think
is,
it's hard.
that's a nice one.
Kind of hard to beat that. Kendra Tucker tuning in. Good to see you in there. Tammy Johnson, our buddy Jeremy Lindsay, Grant Jackson. A lot of great folks in here. So I'm going to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. As you guys know, Susie and I have been busy working on the Nature's Image Farm podcast, and we were able to take our studio from home, bring it to the Hive Life conference, and kind of set it up and spend a lot of time visiting with folks, catching some video, collaborating. It was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to getting all that content out. We also had a lot of cross collabs from all kinds of different folks. We had Nathan Coleman from Duck River Honey, Gus Mitchell, Fred Dunn, David Burns, Mr. Ed, Ian Stepler, Yappy, the Beeman. The list goes on and on. Josh Hager, Nina Bagley, Sylvia from Bud's Bees. We have some junior beekeepers, Grayson and Curtis. And then our pal Randy Southard, Tar Heel beekeeper. So many great folks. That's the fun thing about Hive Life is getting everybody together, collaborating, getting to know each other. It's just a lot of fun. So let's get into it. Let's go ahead and bring in the man, the myth, the legend, Bruce Jenne. Bruce,
hey everybody.
How's it? Are you recovered yet? I mean, even close?
Man, I got home this evening from work and sat down on the couch, was watching a little basketball game, and then my wife is like, "You better get up." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" So I rushed up here. I usually keep all my studio pretty much kind of set up and just plug the computer in and out, but I just had to plug everything in. So that's why I was a couple of minutes late. I was like madly trying to get everything plugged in. So anyway, but I came home, and the next day I actually got out there and got into some bees and treated with the probiotics that I purchased, the Super DFM stuff. And man, I don't know if anybody saw that video, but I was impressed with how the bees are doing. They weren't as sick as I thought they were. They were actually busting at the seams a little bit. So there were a couple of them that were weak, and those were the sick ones I was worried about. But I just assumed if they were sick, there must be others that were having issues. But man, most of them are looking really, really good. So I'm excited about that. And I sent you a picture, Greg, of one of those things that was just busting out of the seams. And you said, "Aren't you concerned about that a little bit?" And
are you worried? It scared me to death.
I am a little bit, but when they get on that, they're about to go through a lot of stress. And so that probably slows them down a little bit while they're on their way out there. But man, the thing that was interesting is that it was, I forgot what I was going to say. They were so packed out, and what was I going to say? They were so calm. It's like I've been feeding them straight for like 2 weeks. My brain's still trying to turn on after Hive Life.
Good luck.
Had a real busy day at work today too, so I'm kind of just trying to refocus a little bit. But yeah, they were so calm, like they weren't as aggressive as usual. I guess when you feed them, they're pretty happy, and so I was amazed at how calm a lot of those bees were. That typically those are some crazy bees out there. A little, not horrible, but a little bit more than what I like. But they were calm. It was almost like a beautiful spring day in January, so it was pretty neat.
So you said, I know there's a lot to talk about tonight, but I'm sure at some point we'll kind of talk about some of our big hauls that we brought back from Hive Life. And I think you had a good approach on not only what you wanted to do to collect content, but you made it count on what you were going to bring back. Let's go ahead and bring on the third part of this stream team. There he is.
Hey, there he is, Brian. Brian, you look like you're a little more awake now than you did Saturday morning when we saw you there. That's crazy.
He was the man of little words Saturday evening. I thought he was going to fall asleep at the table.
Well, he got there in the morning and he was just like he had just like a deer in the headlights, like he couldn't wake up. What's that? And then he woke up and did really good. And then by that evening, though, he was just he was like in its complete daze out there when we were eating that evening. So.
At dinner, I was like somewhat checked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, we were just kind of getting ready to get into kind of talk a little bit about Hive Life. And before we get going, I was saying that Bruce kind of had a pretty good strategy on his approach on capturing video, but also making it count on the purchase that he wanted to get. I wanted to know if Bruce, maybe you want to talk a little bit about what was your Hive Life haul coming back to Dothan, Alabama?
Well, I spent a fair amount of money, but I didn't buy a lot of different products. I knew a couple of things coming up in the spring here where I live typically. The bees, they go into winter fairly heavy usually, but then about now, they're really starting to kind of build up a little bit. I haven't been in my production colonies much, but they're pretty heavy the last time I checked them. But they're about to start plowing through some food here because we have real inconsistent weather. It'll be kind of chilly and then it gets warm. It'll feel like a spring day for a week. And then we'll have 3 or 4 days of cold. And so the bees just kind of it's like whiplash for them. They're out flying and then they're not. And they are, then they aren't. And when it's a warm day, if it's 65, 70 degrees outside, I mean, they're getting after it, but there's not a whole lot for them to get. So they can actually starve out in a hurry. So I ended up with, I think, all 3 of the Hive Life products. I've got some fondant, which I've been using that a little bit already. I put back about a month or even a month and a half ago, I started putting it on some of those smaller ones, some of yours, Greg, that really didn't have a good food supply, really haven't had a great flow since they've been in there. And they start off a little weak the way we had to split them at that time of the year. And so they haven't had a chance to build up. And so I've been putting a little fondant on there. And I've used up all the fondant from last year. And so I got 4 boxes of fondant, which is 60 patties. I got I have a box of the pollen patties, and then I have some of the liquid as well. So I'm going to kind of try that stuff out, try the Hive Life, all 3 of those products, some this spring. When I get the pollination bees out of here, then I'm going to really focus on those jokers and see if I can make sure the lighter ones are, building up and have the growth they need. But they can literally crash. They can starve. They can go from being reasonably strong, strength wise, weight wise, to just starving almost overnight, it seems. And last year, I think that the patties that the fondant that I'd ordered just because I thought I should order some, and I didn't think I was going to use it till this year. Last year, I think that saved me. I really enjoyed meeting those guys too at Hive Life. David and Dara, great guys. I also really enjoyed talking to the people over at the Super DFM. I think is it Microbials? I'm not sure what the name of that company is. It's something to do with Microbials, I know it's called, but the Super DFM product, I'm kind of impressed with that. What's the company called? Is it
Strong Microbials?
What is Strong Microbials?
Yeah, Strong Microbials.
I knew the M standard for Microbials, but
yeah,
I know that we talked to Bob Benny a little bit at dinner that first night, and he talked to some studies where, I don't know if it was Randy Oliver or one of the big time beekeepers that everybody knows about, or maybe it was a lady that he had heard speak at a conference or something. They didn't really have any proof that probiotics worked. But I just think about I just don't see how it could hurt. And I've heard great stories, I think, from my local guys here. Davis has had good success with it. He used it for 2 years, and then last year he didn't use it. And and he said his bees did better the previous 2 years. And so a lot of people swear by him. And so obviously if you have a good flow coming in, if everything's perfect, then it's probably going to be fine. But I think the bees go under a lot of stress certain times of the year, and I don't know. All I know is I saw that stuff on the front of my hives, and I decided almost before I went up there I was going to try them. And after talking to those folks and just reading what little I read about it, I think it's worth a try. Definitely couldn't hurt. And so those are the main two products I purchased, were the Hive Life products and the probiotics.
I think that's a good call on that, on the strong microbials. I think the jury's out for a lot of folks on some of these things, but we had an opportunity this year to help somebody out with some sick colonies. I mean, they were sick. They were in a bad way. And I really do feel like that the strong microbials really helped save a lot of those that would have been doomed otherwise. And I think when we were talking with Bob at dinner the one night, he was interested in, I think, the approach on using it, and a lot of the research says, they're not sure if it really helps. They know it doesn't hurt, but
That's right.
if it has benefits, it's going to be in colonies that are poisoned or are sick. So which is a kind of a different way to think about it, because usually, like for us, and this is where that tricky word that Brian likes a lot, anthropomorphize, kicks in here, is for us being proactive and using probiotics for gut health is one thing, but for the bee with their short lifespan, you can only do so much. But I think for us, I do want to say that I did use that in some NUCS this year, and the NUCS just had a certain vibe to them. They just seemed to be a little bit more sparkly. So there's a lot of things going on this year. So we're definitely going to try it again. And kind of put it on and see what happens. Worst case, it doesn't hurt. And I think for the money, I'd rather put money on something that can help them to a certain degree than just to throw money at something because we think it might work.
Well, if it just helps them feel better and makes them more vibrant, and they can do a better job of, laying, providing the royal jelly or the food that the larvae need and the eggs need for the future generation, if any of that is a positive thing, then why not give it a try? I mean, it's not going to just, like you said, their lifespan is fairly short. Now, this time of the year, though, the lifespan is a little bit longer. We know in the winter time. So, but man, if they can just, I don't know, I think it's a good idea. I'm excited about it. I think after talking to several people and seeing some of the comments in my video stream, I think that, one person talked about it being, are the bees getting better because the conditions are better, like because there's more food or whatever, or is it because of the microbials, strong microbials? I don't know, but I just, to me, it makes sense and I feel good about it. And it's not a ridiculously expensive product. We spend more money on treating for mites for sure than we would that stuff. And so it's, the Hive Life, they had a discount price, but even if you pay full price for it, it's still well under $1 per treatment. And so it becomes, is it, if you feel like it works for you, do it. If not, then don't. My bees, I've never used it before. My bees have survived for 10 years. So the bees can survive and do okay without it. But why not if I want to stimulate and have the healthiest bees possible, why not give it a shot? So
Bruce,
that's kind of my thoughts.
When I walked over to Strong Microbials, this here package that I have has 50 applications. So that will last me 5 years with 11 colonies. I had a special discount code, and that when I walked over to their booth with DJ Barracuda, he said, if I purchase this monster box thing, whatever, can you give my friend one of those? They said, sure. So I had a special DJ Barracuda.
Like you got the free code, the coupon free code.
I walked away with this for free.
he was kind of fired up. He thought that was funny. So he got you a good deal there. But yeah, I mean, and it depends. Like, I think I'm going to treat mine, Greg and Brian. Tell me what you think about this. With the bees that, these that are going off for pollination, the ones that are a little bit sick that I thought I'm going to just treat them one more time. I treated them on Monday I got off work early so I could go out and do that. I really felt like I needed to. And then I think we're going to be moving them to the Clean Palace on Saturday morning early. I think I'll just throw some more in there then. Can't hurt. And if, and then, the ones that stay behind are going to be the ones that are weaker anyway. So I may treat them another week. So I think 3 to 4 weeks in a row. And then they say once a month, I think, don't they? And I mean, during a good flow, during the healthy times of the year, probably not. But if there's any stress on the bees, isn't that kind of what they say to do once they're treated as once a month? I don't know what the actual protocol is.
What you're trying to work through. When we were helping out with those really, really sick bees, we were going on top with just all with the DFM, with the oxalic, and knocking everything back, and it really helped. So I think there's all kinds of different ways to go about that. So, Brian, what about you? And Bruce, I want to talk more about that too. I think there's a lot of good strategy when we think through what these things do and where our bees at, that I think makes a lot of sense to get them through.
I really can't. I can't speak to it as far as like from an expert point of view. First of all, I don't feel like I'm an expert on anything. But second of all, it's my first time ever using it, so I don't know enough about it yet. So if folks who are watching, who watch my video, I'm not recommending. This is not a how-to video, to take a coin from the world famous Mike Berry. But it's it's something I'm trying to see what I think, and I don't know how you really test it. I guess you can use it on some hives and not on others, and I don't really even know how you test it as far as like success.
Yeah,
but I just feel pretty good about it, and so we'll see what happens. And you mentioned the video I put together. Honestly, man, I had no idea how I was going to do that, because I didn't really have a plan for the conference, what I was going to do. Last year, my plan was the people of Hive Life. And so if you'll notice in my video that I did on the longer video I did on Hive Life this time, first of all, it's way longer than I wanted it to be, but I just couldn't cut. I'd had to do it. I just had to put all that stuff in there. I felt like, and the clip, it moves pretty quickly. The clips aren't very long, but I started off kind of interviewing people. And if I talked to anyone out there who did not get in the video, I had at least 1 or 2 people where I think I hit stop. I think I hit stop instead of start, instead of play. And so Malcolm was one of those. I talked to him for a few seconds, and I just had like a half a second of him on there. A second. I didn't actually get anything I said to him. And so I apologize if anyone is expecting to be on that video and you're not. But I started off the first night doing that, and the battery on my phone or my camera died. And I didn't really know. I was using some new microphones. I didn't know how they were going to work in that crowded environment. And so I just was kind of uncomfortable, but we got some good footage that first night. About half the video was that first night. But when the battery died, I just started going around and talking to people without having to worry about trying to videotape it and get footage. And I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun doing that without trying to worry about a video. And so I decided from that point on not to get as many interviews with people. I got some pictures of folks, especially if they want to get a picture of me. We kind of got a picture, and I kind of got one back with some folks, but I wanted to kind of get more of the experience. So the last couple of days, it's more, there's a few pictures in there, but it's more just walking around, kind of talking about the experience a little bit. And I had like a 6-minute clip walking through the vendors, and I'm like, I'm not going to put a 6-minute clip of that in there. So I just cut that one out. But
there's a lot of folks when after several times at being at Hive Life, what you share becomes a little bit different, because I think it gives you the opportunity to, I don't think I took no B-roll. I didn't take any video of anything really anywhere.
The only pictures I took went to Facebook.
And
that
so
was it.
Luckily the camera's running.
Like 5 pictures.
I think the approach of just kind of capturing a moment. Hey, let me get a little moment here, a little moment there. Let me get a picture here and a picture there. I think that kind of turned out. It kind of came together pretty good. So hopefully folks are enjoying that video. It's not getting a ton of views yet, but just
oh, sorry, Bruce. We've got we tried to we had some big news that we were going to share tonight, that we would be broadcasting from the stars. But so we finally big update. We finally have better internet, and we've got one of those Starman satellite things.
Starlink.
The only trouble is at nighttime, for whatever reason, it's like down in like 4 and the 5 megabyte range
Just
on
clear all the clouds
the
out.
down, and then on the upload, it's pretty good. But during the day, it's like 120, 130. I guess
Wow.
I guess I need to think about that. You're probably right. It's probably clouds, solar. I don't know what the deal
It's
is.
Ohio.
Solar flares.
But we do have somebody coming in from his dinner table. Actually, I can see him down below. He's chewing. We've got several special guests tonight. We're going to bring on.
Chewing.
We've got one of them. He's right in the middle of
literally
chewing.
Pizza.
Oh my
We figure
goodness.
let's get him on right mid.
What in the world was
he
he
doesn't
eating
even know
before
he's
the
on.
pizza?
He
It
probably
looked
doesn't
like
even-
rolls of something.
He probably doesn't even know he's on. does
breadsticks.
he?
Okay.
What's he eating there? He's muted.
Well, he's
He's using
muted, so
fingers
we're
a
not
lot.
gonna hear him.
He's got to unmute himself is a thing. He's swallowing so.
I can't wash it down. I don't have a
Oh,
cup.
wash it down. Yeah. You want to borrow Greg's?
What? I don't. What's going? It's almost
What?
like you need a coffee cup there, Yappy.
I need any
Bruce-
kind of cup.
Bruce,
right
hand him
now.
a
It's not
coffee.
working. It's not working.
If only Yappy had a
Trying.
coffee cup.
Yeah. I
There's
mean,
a
I would
spoon.
like dump this
Oh,
down
my
over
God.
there.
Thanks,
and
Bruce.
Fill it up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If only Yappy had a coffee mug, it would just be. What
It was clean too. I cleaned it.
we're
Man,
talking
how
about,
you
Yappy.
doing,
We're
Yappy?
talking about biggest Hive Life hauls. I've got two. One of them I'm wearing on my head. I'll talk about that
Yeah, you
later.
can't see
But
it.
you know what? One of my biggest Hive Life hauls was a Hives for Heroes tumbler that has been drank out of by the one and the only Yappy Beeman. He even put his name on it. Somehow it got swiped.
Does
I have-
that mean that you could like clone Yappy? 'Cause
No,
it's
she
like
washed it.
Yappy
She done
DNA.
watched it already.
I'm not sure Yappy's ever going to get his mug back. I mean, what do you guys think? What should we do with this thing? Should we send Yappy his mug back? Should we
I think it should
Yeah,
be
we
the
should give it away.
Brotherhood of the traveling
give-
cup.
We could give it away.
just give it away tonight, Bruce? Just
Yeah.
hashtag Yappy's mug. Like that's always a possibility. I don't know what Yappy. I'm actually drinking some kind of a weird kefir fermented fish head sauce in this thing for gut health and probiotics. So I'm not sure it's ever going to be the same. But you know what's nice about
It's
it?
a super KFM.
Well, the fact
Man,
that she's still
the way
sitting
the-
there and not dead yet, I'm okay with it.
Wow, that's what a nice mug. I don't think you're ever going to get that back. So it's not really
Let's give it
stealing if the person knows,
All
right?
right. Leave it to me to come up with this thing I wanted to do. And I'm not going to name names,
Mm-hmm.
but I had this idea, and I was hoping that some guy from out of this country was going to go and hang out with you guys. And I really was really hoping he was going to bring his flag. And I had this whole thing planned out in my head
Oh yeah.
that I was going to sneak around, and when nobody was looking, I was going to borrow the flag. Well,
Mhm.
Things didn't work out, it was what it was. But man, I wanted that flag.
Yeah.
And I told a few people, I said, what if we get this, and then we all pass it around to the different YouTubers, have it make an appearance real quick and then be gone, kind of follow the flag, whatever you want to call it. And things just didn't work out for me. And then all of a sudden, the very last hour of Hive Life, I must have said it 20 times if I didn't say it one time. How beautiful is it when you're around a group of people where when you set your mug down and you come back 2 hours later, it's still there.
Mm.
So I set my mug down, and I was carrying out some things that I was so grateful to have purchased at the
I'm sorry.
conference.
Whose mug? I'm sorry.
And I
You're
come
breaking up.
back, and my mug was mugged.
By that
Oh,
ugly mug.
Yeah. My mug was
that's good.
was abducted or abmugged.
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 I don't think
But
you're
it
ever going to
wasn't
get this back. But in the spirit of the of Yappy's
Traveling mug.
the collaboration here, I think what we might have a situation on our hands here, fellas. I think what we might have is the Brotherhood of the traveling Yappy mug. Where will this mug show up next?
It's like Carbon San Diego.
I'll give you a hint. Not
Where
Yappy's house.
No.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I know that.
Where in the world is Yappy's Tumblr today? Come on,
Where?
man.
We're just going to have
fair.
mugshot
fair.
Mondays from across the country with Yappy's mug. I like it.
I will send prepaid postage to the next person just so they send it off to the person after that.
I don't think it'll ever get. Maybe I tell you what. Maybe it'll go around all year long.
Oh,
and
great.
then someone can hand it to Yappy
at the conference
at Hive Life,
I
January
seriously going
4th.
to wait a year to get my Tumblr back.
I wonder if we could get that mug over to like Richard in France and stuff like that.
Yes.
That would be so
Oh,
fun.
That'd be cool.
It wouldn't pass customs. It's been drank out
We'll
of.
send it over to Ireland and
Yeah,
have Dan
really.
and Dara sign it too.
Well, it would have passed customs if Greg hadn't drank out of it.
Well, there's true.
I did
The only
wash it
problem
first,
with this,
Yappy.
there might be a lot of DNA on this thing. Maybe I don't want that across going everywhere.
I'll wash it
We'll
first.
I'll tell you what. Maybe I'll send it up to Canada. We'll send it up to Ian first. Maybe
Oh,
that
God.
frozen tundra will just freeze it. And
Yeah.
then we'll take a picture of the mug with the flag just to
Like
rub it in
Ian's
your
going
face.
to want to send it off now that I've turned around and told everybody I was going to steal his flag.
Oh, man.
How about this? Southeast Homestead says everyone could sign it, so we could send it around. People could sign it, and then at the conference next year, we could either give it back to Yappy or give it away or something.
You know,
Pretty cool, wouldn't it?
No, I was just thinking for that flag. If there's a flag that goes around, we could all sign it, and you know, that'd be like an auction next year or something, huh?
Man.
Wow, this is going to turn
Is it
into
really
something.
upsetting when somebody leaves it
It's
behind?
almost
them?
like the sticker that turned into like an uncapping tank. It's a flag that turned into.
That was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Don says there's no way.
Thank you,
Don.
Don.
Well,
Don,
well,
Don.
Natalie will have to drink out of it. Then you got to drink out of it before you can sign it. I think, right?
Whoever
If it finally gets to Ian, I'm sure he can sterilize it with some. Maybe what would look great around Christmas time is the double cracking in one of those things. That'll
I was
sterilize
just
it.
going to say, I want to get the mug after Ian has it because I'll get it with Kraken in it.
Oh man. Well,
That's
guys,
pretty sad. You have literally just spent the last 10 minutes rubbing it in my nose about a mug. And then
I'm sorry. Can you talk into the microphone?
your evil plan on what you're going to do with my mug.
That's a
Heck
good
yeah.
mug.
Double Kraken eggnog.
In
in the
all
mug.
serious, this Hives for Heroes mug, it just fits in your hand just right. It's like it will never leave you or forsake you. It's right there in your hand. You're not going to drop it. It's always going to be with you.
Yes.
It makes you feel comforted. It makes you feel loved. It makes you feel refreshed. I mean, I've never had a mug like that. And Yappy, neither were you.
Yeah. What would you expect from a Hive from Heroes cup anyway? Something that has that much that perfectness about it. I mean, really.
Yep.
Well, hey guys, we've got some folks coming on tonight. I thought it would be cool to kind of as we go on with the night, let's kind of jump around and talk about our Hive Life experience. But I tell you, did you guys see all those blue ribbons? There were so many amazing blue ribbons. You can't help but be like, the type of. Can you imagine like having the blue award or winning honey and just wouldn't that be cool? Or wax
Yeah,
or
that would be, my gosh, to win a blue ribbon at something like that. My word.
I got this.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
I can't read the who
Francais.
I can see the fellow who gave that to me. And you, who
Hell
was
Hives.
that? You remember?
Hell Hives.
Yeah, Hail
Oh, it
Hive.
was Hale. Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then,
He handed it to me. He said it's
Here.
honey, it's honey, not wine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't
And-
drink. So
Okay, I want you guys to hang on for just a second, okay?
Oh, he's on tonight too, Brian.
I'm gonna try something here.
he's French.
We're gonna try. Can you guys see this? We're gonna try some technology. Can you guys bear with me here just for a second? Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay.
It's French.
Let's see. Is it for
Oh,
Jill?
look at that. Look at that,
Wow.
Yappy. So you shouldn't feel
Oh.
as bad now.
Hello.
Is this Miss Marianne?
This is Miss Marianne. Hello, Greg and Susan.
This is Greg and Susan, the stream team, 156 folks, Yappy the Beeman, here on the Nature's Image Farm podcast and stream team. And we thought it would be really cool to try to talk you into talking to us about one of those blue ribbons that you won. I'm going to try to pull up the photo here. Let's see. Switch tab, window. You guys got to check this out. This is a funny story. Can you guys see that?
Oh, man.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, you guys know these folks. If you don't know Larry and Marianne, you really next time you see them, you got to go shake their hand and talk to them. Marianne, I'm gonna brag on you just a little bit, but we're walking through there, and Larry comes over and he says, "Did you hear that there's a competition for best man?" And I said, "Really?" And then he pulls out his blue ribbon and he says, "I won first prize." And I thought that was just great. If anyone knows Larry and Marianne, you know, if there were going to be a blue ribbon to go to a couple, it would definitely be them. They're just salt of the earth folks. And so, Marianne, it's an absolute honor to have you on tonight to talk to us a little bit about your award-winning blue ribbon. Can you tell us about Hive Life and your blue ribbon?
Well, I'll tell you about my blue ribbon first. That belongs to my husband, Larry, because he is a blue ribbon husband.
Aww.
I tell you, he is nothing but the best, and I can't say anything good enough. I mean, there's just nothing I can say that would be enough to talk about him. And that was, by the way, his idea, because he was showing that to Cayman Reynolds that he was the best looking man there, is what he told Cayman. So, you know, and then there was something that Cayman said about manure, and I won't go into that. But yeah, yeah, that blue ribbon came from the honey show, and it was for creamed honey, but I got a couple of ribbons, and I got a third place ribbon for amber honey, and that's what I was the most proud of. I was so shocked. It just shocked me to win anything, so I was really pleased about that.
So you took a blue ribbon for creamed honey at the Hive Life conference with, I mean, how many? There had to have been over 100, 150 entries for honey.
I think there were 190 some people that entered. The creamed ribbon, the cream honey had 10 entries in it.
Wow.
So, you know, but we came home. We talked all the way home about Hive Life, and I told him it was the best vacation I ever had.
Nice.
That's awesome.
We just loved it.
Well, you guys are awesome. You guys were so gracious enough to bring in some of your handiwork for the silent auction, and I absolutely loved. I was able to bring home your 2-frame observation hive, and then I won Susie that beautiful carved bee with a little pull-out belly drawer thing. You guys just do such phenomenal work.
Well,
I want you to know that my wife made all that stuff. I got credit for it, but I did nothing.
Oh, that's great.
That's not true. We're a team. And we really, that's where our heart is the silent auction. We really think that that's our future. And let's face it, we're older and we have a limited amount of years in beekeeping. And we really would like to see a bunch of young people get started right. And I think this is the place they're going to do it.
You're absolutely right. Well, guys, thanks for jumping on the phone call tonight. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in March at the conference. What do you guys know about the conference so far?
So far, they're going to have several good speakers. I can't tell you everybody. Paul Kelly's coming, and you're going to be there. And Natalee's going to be there, and her family. Kent Williams, Humberto, can't pronounce his last name. From pardon me?
Bonchristiani.
Yes, that's exactly who
Thanks,
it is.
Brian.
Thank you. And it's going to be a lot geared toward youth also. We're trying to get youth involved in the state. So I think we're going to have a great time. It's a great facility, and I think it's just going to be a really good time.
That's going to be awesome. If folks want to find more about that conference, do you happen to know the website?
It's honeyinthehills.com, I believe is the the website.
honeyinthehills.com. We will find that link and we'll post it here in the video too. I'm looking forward to seeing you both, Larry and Marianne, and I'm going to try to talk you into autographing those beautiful pieces of wood that you made. So thanks a lot for that too.
All right, we'll be over to see y'all one day.
Okay, we're going to hold you to it.
All right,
Okay,
thanks.
see you guys.
So nice talking to y'all.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Oh, that was fun.
They're such great folks. I tell you, you can't say enough good things about them. Last year, I can remember Miss Marianne walked right up to the booth, and she came bearing gifts. You know, she knew that we had kids, and I think it was some jacks and some marbles, and she brought them on the kids to have out. I thought that really impressed me. Right off the cut there, that she would do that. And of course, we enjoyed talking with them and getting to know them a little bit better, and kind of seeing them, trying to keep up with them throughout the year there. So that was pretty cool.
Where are they located at, Greg?
They're in West Virginia.
Okay.
Yep. So they're just our neighbors
I
there.
may have seen them there, but I wasn't familiar with who they were. So.
Well, thanks, Brian. Brian, I'm glad you're on here. It took me about 30 minutes to figure out how to share their picture. And Brian does it like that. But yep, I'm really looking forward to Honey in the Hills to be a featured speaker. I think we're going to give 2 talks and a round table. So for anyone who knows our story and they know what we're kind of what we do here, if there are a certain subject or topic that you'd like us to hear, drop us some comments tonight here in the comments. Leave us a message on Facebook. You can go to our website, nature'simagefarm.com. You can contact us through there. There's a lot of things I want to share about some hard lessons learned growing a bee yard, hard lessons learned raising queens, feeding bees, things like that, where when you go from sideline scale and you're growing, there's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many things that you need as leverage points that has really helped us get to the next level. And not that I don't mind sharing the things that I think go right. But what I really am passionate about sharing is all the things that are perceived failures. I really like sharing all the things that were hard lessons learned, pass those along to folks so they can learn from those. They don't make those. They go out and make new mistakes. They have more learning opportunities that they can then pass on to somebody else. And that's the way that we can just keep learning and learning together. So we're looking forward to that March conference. For sure. Yappy, did you get any blue ribbons for the best coffee tumbler or anything like that?
I would have if it would have stayed there and been able to be judged, but it's not there anymore. Somebody got my mug.
There's always maybe next time.
Sure.
Well, so right down over there, I got the phone going, and I'm actually watching all these comments. So hello, everybody in the comments.
Yeah,
I got 2 different things going on here, but it's like Bohemian Yappy got no. I see what that was there, old Jason. I ended up with a cool hat. All right, you got my mug, but I ended up with a cool hat.
Ooh, what'd you get?
Well, when them Bohemia guys got their 10,000 subscriber thing going on, I got me an ECP too. I may have, suggested that if Jason loved his people, he'd have gave away that hat he was wearing, and all that went that direction. And
did you get one of them?
No, I didn't get one.
I got one, and you did.
You know what? And he even walked up and said hello to me and everything else. He never said, "Hey, come get your hat."
Why does a man with so much hair need a hat? Is my question to you, Ryan. I mean, I'm compensating for something here. I'm not going to. I don't want to do it to the camera, but I'm compensating something fierce.
No.
Right. Me too.
Fine off the screen.
Right.
Yeah, but no, Jason, say it in the comments what that hat is that style hat. But the very exact same hat that our buddy Jason wears, it is pretty much every day. He got me one. It's pretty cool. One of them. I mean, I feel like I need to be driving around in a convertible MG.
I'm going to throw this comment up just so I can circle back and give credit. I think that'd be a great thing to incorporate in some of the talks there. I'd like to hear Mama T's Bees would like to hear about smaller beekeepers develop annual priorities for growing colonies and how to set realistic goals each year. Also, how to set priorities and timelines. That is something that we are intimately aware of. And Mom over here is going to give me the eye. But Yappy, that hat. Oh, Scally. A Scally
There
cap?
you go.
Scally cap.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
Boston-
never even heard of that.
Scally.
Don't ask me.
We're not hip enough to say that right.
It's a scally cap.
That's it.
It's just a scally cap.
Scally cap.
I don't know. I'm
Bruce
just
is
saying,
like,
it's,
"What?"
I'm just saying it's spelled like that, so I'm going to call it a
Bruce
scally
is like
cap.
enough with your
Kind of like
ridiculous
moose balls or
nonsense.
muse balls are actually spelled like muff, but I call them whatever they are. Right?
Actually, at the end of the day, it's my hat. That's the only thing I can say I have anymore.
It's a
the
yappy hat. It's a yappy hat.
No,
I
it's a
got
Jackson hat. That's
Two
all
things
that
I want to
matters.
add to that is speaking of hats. I don't know if you guys. I got to shout this little feller out. I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
All right, so I'm sitting at Cracker Barrel, and
Oh,
this little rascal says, "Mr. Greg," and I look over, and I said, "Hey, bud." He goes, "Would you sign my hat?" And I said, "What? What?" He goes,
No. You got to tell him the first part though, because it was even cuter. What happened at the hotel before that?
"Oh, okay,
This is the best part of the story.
Okay, do you
It was
remember?
so
You tell
cute.
it.
No, I was barely awake when you
Okay.
told me that.
All right, so this little feller's mom said, so he was at the hotel water park, and he saw someone walk through with the name tag Greg, and he said, oh, "It's Greg. Will you sign my hat?" Well, the guy signed his hat. It was the wrong Greg, I guess. He wouldn't have Greg somebody, and so I guess they must have bought him another hat.
They must have had
They
to buy
must
him
have
another
freshened him
hat.
up, bought him another hat. So we're sitting at the table, and he says, "Mr. Greg, would you sign my hat?" And I didn't know, I didn't know what to expect. And I said, I look over, and he goes, "I brought my pen." And I said, "Well, okay then." And so I signed a little rascal's hat, and then I hold the hat, and he's looking at me like, "What's going on here?" And I gave him my hat back, and I said, "I'm not giving your hat back unless you sign mine." And his face went, "Really?" So I said, "Yes." I took my hat off, and old Remington Hager signed my hat, and I gave him his hat back. So that was
and his
Josh.
mama said he forgot to cross a T.
And I like it. It's one of a kind. This is the only hat out there signed by Remington Hager. That's Josh Hager, the Bearded Bee Works' son.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was
Hey,
my
let me
absolute
tell you
greatest
something about
honor.
that is hilarious because that kid's got a NASCAR name. All right. He was practicing on your hat because I'm telling you, in about 18 years, that boy's going to be running in circles with a NASCAR with a name like that.
Remington Hager. I like it.
That was cool. Bruce, you mentioned muth jars or muth jars, whatever you want to call it. It was really cool to have to kind of bring our friends into our booth there at the conference. We had Brian's Castle Hives set up and ready to go, and folks really loving those. And then they were able to come right up and check out Bruce's bees. And Bruce had 1 pound squeeze and also had those beautiful muth jars. Folks were just oohing and ahhing about how gorgeous those were, and they got to buy those. So, if you were lucky enough to stop by and pick those up, those are absolutely gorgeous. But when you go to, we brought some honey to sell, but it just seems weird to try to sell honey to beekeepers. But there are some that want to try and see what you got and what you got going on. But then, did you guys see the photos from the honey show? I wish I had one.
Oh my gosh, beautiful! Yeah,
absolutely amazing. When they put them up there, where you can see the natural light kind of going through there, you can see every shade and tone and color and opaqueness. It was just, oh my goodness, it was absolutely gorgeous. And tonight we actually have a special guest who got a blue ribbon, and let's bring him on here, Mr. Rollyn.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Well, we're doing great. It's an honor to have a blue ribbon honey competitor on the stream team.
I'm still trying to believe that it's me. So
walk us through that. Walk us through, how did you find out you were the blue ribbon winner, and for what?
Yeah. So we were there Thursday night. Well, let me back up because I had entered just a local honey show just with my club. And I think there was only 6 entries, and I had no clue. And so I learned a couple things. So I knew the honey show was going on here. And so like 2 days before, I was like, okay, if I didn't have any glass, queen line jars like they need. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Farm and Fleet. And if they got glass queen line jars, I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to dump some honey in and we'll let this thing fly. So, of course they did. And so we were there Thursday night waiting in line, and it was quite a wait. I think we were in there for about an hour, 45 minutes or so waiting. And I was standing around a few guys, and there was a couple guys that, didn't get the memo that, they needed 3 jars versus 1 or, whatever. And somebody was like, well, why don't you just enter the black jar and you can get to the front of the line? And, I don't know, we had waited probably an hour at that point in time. So I was like, well, I'm not going to jump ship now and enter that. So we waited and entered into I think I entered the Amber show. And, oh yeah, there's a picture. So the next morning I was like, well, I should just take one of my jars that I brought to trade and I should enter into the black jar just for, I don't know, not that I'm going to win anything. And so I did. And then we were at, was it Friday morning when they announced, or Saturday morning when they announced the winners, and they got to the black jar, and bless his heart, I probably would have done the same things with some of the names that were up there, but he absolutely butchered the name so much that I didn't even recognize that it was me. and it was like Rollyn a Burke. Like, I think the L and the E must have been blended together and it looked like a K or something. And so I was like, oh, no, okay, never mind. And so it was at least an hour later that we were just, I don't know what we were doing, coming out of a seminar or something. And I just got the hunt. I was like, man, I wonder if he just pronounced my name wrong. I was like, no, there can't be. No way. And I told my wife wanted to go sit in the cafeteria or whatever for a while and read a book or something. And so I just started moseying over there, and I looked and I pulled out, they didn't have the name cards out. They were still in the little binder thing or whatever. And they just had the 5 sitting there with the little codes on them. So I had my little red ticket and I pulled it out, and they had them 5th to 1st, left to right, which to me was opposite too.
Right.
And so I pulled out my red tag and I was like, 484. I was like, there's 484, but it's in 5th place, but my name sounded like it was in 1st. So I don't know, I just grabbed the folder thing and pulled it out, and sure enough, my name. So I called my wife right away. I was like, you cannot believe this. I was like, it was me. This is not happening right now. But no, it was just so cool. The few people I sell honey to, absolutely love it. And they've always told me how good it is. And I don't know, I've always really liked it. I'm kind of a honey addict myself. I put it in my coffee every morning.
Yeah, but you honey that, I shouldn't say that. There's different classes of honey. And in my mind, the absolute top tier class, tell us about the class of honey you won.
Yeah. So black jar, and here's the other funny thing is I just learned what black jar was on Thursday night. But I think it's an awesome class. I thought it was a really good idea. Even then it's a black jar, and you just dump in about that much in, and the reason it's black is so that nobody can have any bias about the color or the look of it in any way. It is strictly taste, nothing else. And I was like, that's the coolest thing.
Doesn't get any better than that. You know, honey is a beautiful color and clarity and no smudgy jars and filled just perfectly. But to have honey from a black jar that is based on taste, the best tasting honey, Rollyn, I think that is like, you cannot get any better than a Hive Life blue ribbon for black jar, best tasting honey.
Not only that, but I saw a picture of how many black jars there were that they went through. They waded through all those to I mean, can you even taste the difference at that point? But I'm serious. Like, were they like, you know how when you go into a
They're
candle
pros.
store or something, and
I mean,
you
they
have
were
to
wearing like white
sniff
jackets. They look like doctors or something.
There was a lot of honey to taste.
Rollyn,
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any of your honey for sale? And if so, where can folks find it?
Yeah, I do. And actually, we just finished up a website today. I've had it in the works. I've had it in the works for a couple months. And you know, as soon as I won, I went to my IT guy, which is my brother-in-law, and I was like, hey, let's get this thing done. We got to get this done because people are going to want to buy stuff. So. And then, a live stream was coming up and I was like, we got to get it done today. So this afternoon, we just had a few things with like payments and logistics to figure out. But no, the website is aberlend.com. So ABERLEND. So I had to look at it. There we go. Something like that. Aberlend.com. You can go on there and buy some honey, and hopefully it's streamlined well. And I think Jason from Bohemia bought some this afternoon, so he was already asking about it on Facebook. So there it is.
Hey, Rollyn, what is that your last name, or tell me?
Yeah.
Tell us where you're from and everything.
Yeah. So my last name is actually Aberlee without the ND. And I grew up on a dairy farm, and I still own and operate it. And
that's awesome.
So So I don't know how I find time for this, but I absolutely love it. And when you have cattle, so I'm in Central Illinois. So people that are familiar there, that's like Peoria, Illinois. We're probably 10 miles southeast of Peoria. So how Oberland came about was when you show cattle, or when you register cattle with, so we do Holsteins. So those are the black and white dairy ones. Yeah. And when you want to register them, you have to have like a prefix, a name that separates them out into your group, your ownership. And so I think my dad, him and like his brother, this would have been back in the 70s. They came up with Oberland as that prefix for registering cattle. And so we've used that for that ever since. And we don't do a whole lot of registry anymore, but I was like, oh, that's just a cool name. I need to incorporate that into my brand. And so that's what I did. Came up with logo and all of that. So yep.
Oberland Blue Ribbon Honey. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah.
Now, you also have something else going too. We're obviously on streaming through YouTube. You've got a YouTube channel. Tell us about your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So I kind of started it just to log my journey through beekeeping. I started beekeeping technically in 2020, but in 2019, probably around this time, 2019, even before that, I always thought bees were just the coolest thing, and I didn't know anything about them. I thought, they were just this mystical thing, how do you manage these, bees in a box, like you say? And I just thought it was just really neat. But I just assumed that I didn't have time. Usually, when you harvest honey in July and August, September, I mean, for a farmer, a dairy farm, like those are the busiest times of the year. And I was like, there's no way that I can take, get the whole family together on a Saturday and, get all the equipment out and, do all the extraction and everything and the time it takes, the time it must take to do. And anyway, I was just scrolling YouTube one evening and I don't know if you know this guy at all. I think his name's Fred or something. He was just starting a YouTube channel or a series where he sits at his desk and he answers people's questions.
Oh my gosh.
This was the beginning of the way to be in 2019. Wow. So I've been with him from the beginning and I've watched every single one of his videos since then. And basically I just learned all of 2019. And then I think Black Friday of 2019, I bought my first 2 flow hives. And because he introduced me to the flow hive basically. And with that concept, I was like, hey, I can actually do this. And this is actually possible for a guy like me. So, so I've been with him ever since. And then funny story, I was looking for a cattle trailer. I needed to update my cattle trailer. So I found a used one, exactly what I wanted, but it was 3 hours north of New York City. So that's a drive. And so I was like, let's do this. We're gonna go out there and we're gonna go pick this thing up. So when we were coming back, the plan was to stay in Erie, Pennsylvania. So if you know about anything about Fred Dunn in Erie, Pennsylvania, that's pretty much where he lives. So it was like a Saturday night. I just shot him an email out of the blue. I said, hey, Fred, I've been watching your videos. You've taught me pretty much everything I know. Can I take you out for breakfast as a thank you? I was like, I'm not some crazy super fan. I just, want to, show my appreciation. And he emails me back. I mean, what a humble guy. Just emails me back right away. And he says, can I bring my wife? I said, sure. I've got mine with me too. So yeah, we sat at Cracker Barrel on a Sunday morning for 2.5 hours and just chatted, got a picture, and we went on our way.
That's
so yeah, and then I got to talk to him a little bit at Hive Life again. So yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name of your YouTube channel, Rollyn?
Aberlee, same.
Aberlee,
yep.
Aberlend. Yep. We'll put links in this descriptions too. That's pretty awesome. Yep. It's we're talking about Hive Life, and I think I want to go on record saying that I don't know. I don't think Hive Life is a family reunion. I think Hive Life is a homecoming because it has gotten to the point to where it is so incredibly awesome to be around everybody. You don't want to see anyone go. At least any family reunion that I've been to, you're usually trying to get in and get out. But a homecoming is where everyone is coming home to hang out, to be a part, to just catch up, to share that love, to share that sense of community. Rollyn, it is absolutely awesome to have you not only on the stream team, but to know you from the YouTubes, from the Hive Life, meeting you, shaking your hand. Now I can say, hey, I've got a friend who's a blue ribbon honey guy.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I think I stole this, but
you stole that. Look at that. That is awesome. I got a feeling Rollyn's gonna be putting some more videos up. Maybe he might not share all of his secrets on how to get the blue ribbon honey, but
pretty proprietary.
Pretty proprietary. I got a feeling he's going to be in high demand. So, Rollyn, I'm going to thank you again for taking some time to share with us about your blue ribbon honey experience from the Hive Life conference.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yep. See you later.
Congrats, Rollyn.
Can you imagine being a blue ribbon recipient? Honey? I can't even say the right words. I'm also fried. My brain's not put back together from Hive Life yet.
So hearing it almost makes sense that he won an award like that learning from Fred Dunn, because
Yeah.
When I had the pleasure of sitting down at Fred's place, and we went through the whole Flow Hive talk and everything else, and Fred informed me that it is not abnormal to hear that honey that is harvested out of a flow hive places in those type of competitions, because when you typically harvest honey, you're using a smoker, you're using, if you're have a blower and you're blowing the bees out, there's bee parts, there's everything like that, where when you do it from a flow hive, you're not using smoke, you're not using all of those additional items to harvest the honey. So you don't have, it's basically, it's as pure as what you can get.
So my ribbon honey needs to come from the flow hive next year. I did enter my honey into our local county competition, but I know a guy that got first place instead of me.
Yep.
Larry Gamble. We saw you.
Scoundrel.
It made sense here and all that, and if you think about it, you're going to have smoke. It might,
It makes perfect sense.
Well, think about, there's, something like we could really geek out on some of these synergies and nuances with honey.
Right.
But, let's say there was a beekeeper who was going to go pluck a beautiful tumbler that belonged to a very special person, and they just came in and they just went in, and
I heard he got his from a horizontal hive,
and they just went, and we just pulled out of there, right? And then we
or a signature hive.
Okay, let's say we do that like with honey, and all joking aside, Yappy, I think it's empty. That's a shame. I can't. My time went by so fast. Like it's.
If I can
you're gonna have to
pour some down there for you.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice.
I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch.
That's good. I'm trying to quit. There you go. Okay. All joking aside, though,
she's just now coming up with the whole. Oh, it's the Brady Bunch thing.
Yeah.
They have spent months trying to get that thing right.
We still can't. But think about a centrifuge, centrifugal force, and the honey blasting out of the cells, right? And then collecting, and there's a little bit of air, and it foams, and it does all that thing. But think about a flow hive where you just crack it, it separates, and it just gravity comes out slowly. I mean, there probably is something to be said about that. I know I was a naysayer on those flow hives for so long until I was humbled by someone this year who bought some packages, and then him and his daughter, they had an amazing experience.
Yep.
I was showing Susie. I said, "Oh my gosh, can you believe this? Is this real?" You said, "Look at these so beautiful photos."
Yeah.
When a father and his daughters.
Gave you a jar.
That was an honor when someone gives you your first fruits off their first. That was really cool. But when someone was able to do something like that, I thought maybe I got to rethink this and talk to Brian. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
So look at all the different colors, and it was I'm partial now, but there's just it tasted better coming out of that flow hive when it was just something that you could totally wrote off. But there's maybe something to that.
I'll give a shout out to Michelle Irwin. She sent me a bottle of her first harvest, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's sure. Those are the special ones. One of the things that was absolutely an honor is all the folks that stopped by and
oh, did I meet her, Bruce?
Yeah.
Is that the one I met
sure
that helped with
yeah.
your extraction?
I think she
well, you met Lisa, you met Grammy, and Michelle was there as well. Both of them were there. So
me and Yappy had a little
I asked her if she wanted to buy your honey, because I kept saying, you need to buy honey from Bruce. Buy this honey, buy that hive from Brian, and they'll be you can even get signatures and all that jazz.
Do you remember the photos that she
goes, I already got that honey. I helped extract it.
I helped extract that. And then she came over and she wanted a picture with me and Yappy. And then, so of course, me and Yappy, I got Yappy in a headlock, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And
that was her.
And I told her, you wanted to be in the photo too? And then we got her photo.
All you see is like her head behind his big old elbow.
Yeah. Michelle and Lisa are both awesome.
Yeah.
They were there at the same time, and we had a blast. Michelle is actually from the Birmingham area, which is about 3 hours away. And her daughter had a baby, I think, over in Mobile, which is also about 3 hours away west. Birmingham's kind of north. Yeah. And she drove from Mobile and extracted honey all day. She drove early that morning, got there in time, like by 8:30 or so. Yeah. Extracted all day long. We had a long day, and then she drove all the way to Birmingham that night. So that's dedication. She came the furthest of anyone that I know of to help out with the bees and with the harvest. But Lisa's from.
Go ahead, Bruce.
But Lisa's also nearby. We had Ed, son of one, came and helped, and just several people. Thank goodness for YouTube. I don't know what I do, how I get it all done, but you had several folks.
They love you, Bruce.
Yeah, well, they do. Good folks, and some people want to come and just experience get experience doing that and see what it's like. And well, Greg, you came down. I mean, you know what it's like. These folks down here were
great folks.
You met all these people pretty much that helped me out, except for Michelle. You didn't meet until the conference.
I got to meet Richard Prager at the conference.
Yes, Richard. Cool. Richard is really good too. Richard is just. He's doing it the right way. He's building slowly, and he's keeping his hives. He's keeping his colonies healthy, and but he is just a number one guy, just top notch, hard worker. He's kind of like Yappy. He's a firefighter, so that's good people. And
he probably had the coffee mug though.
Yeah, he probably has his own mug.
Oh yeah, I've got a separate mug for that.
But Richard's great. He's just phenomenal. He's helped me. He helped me move the bees to the new pallets last year. He helped me pull and extract that big harvest. And my truck was kind of having some issues, so he used his truck and pulled my trailer that last harvest in July. So
that's awesome.
It's just, Richard's the type of guy that just kind of you point him in the right direction, and he just can figure out what to do. You don't have to be looking over his shoulder every minute. And that's how most of these people were. They're all just really good folks. Jump in, figure out, and then kind of get some instruction, then go to work. And that's that.
That was the only thing. I don't physically. I know a lot of us have talked about this. 2.5 days of Hive Life was amazing. I don't know that I could have another day or two timeout. Brian's got timeout.
Who had 2.5 days at Hive Life?
Oh, I'm sorry. Brian had a 3-hour blur of all crammed into there. Yeah, Brian could have used 3 extra days there. One of the things that when you get through, I kind of was hard on myself because there were so many folks that I wanted to spend time with that I kind of wasn't able to. But one of the most beautiful things is all the folks that brought honey, or they brought gifts to give to us as a way to say thanks, but to take home and to put with everybody else's on display. Here at the Learning Yard. That was so cool that someone thought enough about what we do to gift us a little piece of their apiary. That was absolutely amazing. I got to give a huge shout out to all the folks that helped us out in our booth. There is absolutely no way that we could have done any of that if we didn't have every single person involved there. I got to thank my son Jake for manning the cameras and the lights and the memory cards and all the things that you absolutely can just lose opportunities if you're not on point and watching all those little things constantly like a hawk. See what I did there, Yappy?
Can I say something too about the people that were at Hive Life that, and I know Yappy probably experienced it more than any of us, but it's just interesting how people that you don't recognize, you've never seen before, just, hey Bruce, how are you doing? And it's just, but you feel like you know them already, and so it's just super cool. I mean, people walk up to you, they're comfortable doing that. And next year, if there's anyone there this year that didn't feel comfortable doing that, next year, be sure to come up and approach us because we want to meet you. But just people that would just kind of not even want to, necessarily stop and talk necessarily. Sometimes people were busy or going the other way, but just they would say, hey, Bruce, or hey, Greg or Brian or Yappy. And so it was just neat to see that you kind of build that relationship with folks, even though you don't really know. You don't know them. You see their names in the comments, maybe or maybe you don't, but you build that connection, and I love that about it. It's just kind of cool to just meet people and just feel at home, completely feel at home.
Not these bugs in a box. These bugs are just the conduit to the people, and that has never been more obvious. Just to have that many folk all in the same room, just wanting to see everyone do well, just be there. That was absolutely awesome. I'm glad we were able to actually catch content and do all those things because we totally, I know last year we really we didn't know what to expect. Last year, I didn't have any idea anyone knew who we were, had anything to say. And so when we get there and it was a humbling to say the least. So this year, there was no way we could have. This year we came into it with a different strategy. where the goal for us in our booth was to have the studio going, try to get as many folks to share their story, sit down, talk with them, and there's no way that we could have done that if we didn't have Jake running the cameras, our daughter Izzy and Susie behind the register. We had our friends Dan and Christy helping with sales, helping register, help move things around back and forth. We had Julie and Kevin Monfelt stopped in for a little while too. There was the list goes on. At the very end, getting wrapped up, we had Randy and his son Doug helping us. There was so many folks coming in and out, just helping wherever they could. That really makes all the difference. But because I've got her on the spot here, I gotta brag on her just a little bit, because I can remember several times throughout that 2.5 days, it was, I mean, it's grueling in a fantastic way. But I can remember just thinking, oh my gosh, I love it. It's intense. And then I would forget, oh no, what are we doing with sales?
You didn't drink anything.
Totally.
I didn't actually see any video you shot whatsoever. Like the little clip at the beginning, I had no clue any of that had happened. It was like we had a barricade between us. But I made sure that I like threw over peanut butter and honeys, or water with liquid IV in it. His lips, he had talked so much to so many people, his lips were actually bleeding, and he would put the comfrey salve I had made at Christmas on his lips at night before bed, because he just never stopped talking.
I told you, Susie, I just gotta say, I thought I was a people person until I met Greg Burns. That guy, listen, he is never not talking to somebody. Like, I've got to kind of like sometimes get in a corner or something and kind of have a little me time. But that guy,
that's how I feel.
Just a little story. We went over to the after we ate on Friday night, I guess it was, or was it Thursday? It was, Friday night. Came in. They did the bluegrass concert, and so Susie was tired. I think he went back, but Greg and I went over to that. Greg and I went over to the bluegrass festival, and it was over. People were getting up and leaving, and I was going to drop him off at the hotel, and there were like 8 people left in the whole room, and Greg's like, "Hey, I got to take advantage of this. I got to talk to some more people. I'll get the shuttle down." And I'm like, man, it's like whatever time. I'm thinking, man, the guy's committed, but Greg, I think, truly wants to just get to know each person that he possibly can. And we were even at dinner, and he sits at the table kind of where we were, and he's back over there talking to other people. He just loves Greg. I just appreciate that about you, how much you truly love people, man. It's just obvious that you love people. And I can get along, I can talk too, but there comes a point where I got to shut it down. But I don't know if Greg ever completely shuts it down.
Well,
but the thing is, it's real. I mean, it's not a political thing. I saw where Joey put Greg Burns for president. I agree with that, but man, there's no politics involved. I think, Greg, you probably don't care for politics, but it's just, you just want to get to know folks and help folks and get to know people to their core and find out about who they are. I think you truly, maybe the word I'll use, you just love people, man. You just love them, and you want to do what's best. I think your whole theme, Be the Lighthouse, it's all based on that. Just because.
Yeah. You know what else he likes?
Uh-oh.
Mugs.
That's right.
Greg, that is a great mug you have there. Where'd you get that?
Funny story. It just it was one of those things that was just meant to be. It was the way to be. Yeah, the way to be. It was such a tizzy to get packed up and to get out of there. Somehow it ended up in a bunch of stuff, and it was like Christmas. We're kind of unpacking the gear, the lights, and the camera, and the action. And it was like this little thing was just like the light with the sun came down over my shoulder, and it hit this little shiny piece of stainless steel, and it was just glimmering and it was shimmering. And I almost just heard it say, "Yappy, Yappy." And I looked down and I said, "What in the world is that? Is that a 20-ounce Hives for Heroes tumbler?"
Look at that.
And sure enough, would you believe it? There it was. And it's so special to me. And I do every morning. I make sure to let Yappy know that I'm having a better day than him because I've got his coffee mug.
Well, I'm just glad to know that even for such a brief time that you will have it in your possession, then it made your day. just the whole spirit of Yappy flowing through the cup right into your mouth.
Right. That's
It'll
it.
give you
On
some
that note,
energy.
this gets shipped out
Warming your
tomorrow.
heart.
Who will be the lucky? Well, hey, in all seriousness, no, I can't. You know, it's the people at Hive Life that has made all of this absolutely amazing. All the work that everyone, Cayman and Laurel, of course, have done incredible jobs. But all the guys, Chris Gambrell, Chris Maduras, Jeremy, Lindsay Homestead. You got Gus Mitchell, the entire Summer family, Andrea Porter, Amanda Brown. I'm forgetting so many names, and I don't mean anything by it. There are so many great folks who are just humbly hustling nonstop behind the scenes that are working as hard as everybody else is, all to make this the best beekeeping conference in the country. And so for them, we owe a big thank you and a hats off to them. What blew me away so much is how everyone was such friendly competitors, even for all the honey show and all the products there. Are you guys are you afraid? Is there anything that you're intimidated by? Like, what would be the most intimidating honey product that you would be petrified of entering in to try to win a blue ribbon for?
Oh wow, product.
Like honey, wax, whatever all the different classes.
Candles. I saw candles. I saw gift baskets.
Creamed honey.
Creamed
And what
honey.
is the one thing that you're like, oh no, I'm out. That is beyond my skill set to get a blue ribbon in. Other than putting on your coffee mug.
Second to coffee mugs. Ooh. You know, I'm telling you, there's some basic candle, the basics of forming the candles, but there's always the little chips or the little lines on the side of it. I mean, to find the mold that you could put a candle in or the wax in and make a candle and have it be just that perfect, that I would probably say candles.
Bruce, what about you? What's the most intimidating class of honey or product that you would be just petrified of entering and to try to win a blue ribbon?
What was that, Brian?
It was a little candle. I was looking for the line.
I had kind of a experience at our local honey judging contest. I haven't entered since, and so the first year I took second place out of I think 3 on the light honey, and then I won the wax competition here at the local festival, the fair that we have every year, and but the next year I don't think I won anything, and so I just kind of quit. But I don't know when. I guess the intimidating thing to me is just when you've got 150, 200 entries. I'm such a perfectionist that I just can't. I just don't know. I don't think one particular category is more intimidating than the other. They're all a little intimidating to me. And I did see that I can't remember. Maybe it was Jamey Wynn, I think, won the wax competition and talked about how he had molded, had poured like that wax like several times into the mold to get it perfect. And that's really what it takes, I think, in that situation. Now we had Rollyn on here with the black jar honey, and that's just pure taste. And so that would probably be the least intimidating to me, because why not just put it in a jar and let them taste it? If they like it, then fine. If not, that's okay. But actually trying to get the bottle, just say any of the honey categories, trying to get that bottle just perfect, the perfect color, perfect clarity. There's so many things they look at. I've watched videos in the past on how they do all that, and it's just, there's so many things involved. You shine the lights through it to make sure there's no particles at all in there. And so it would just be, Don says the rules alone were intimidating. With that type of judging, I can't remember what it's called. Can't remember what that type of judging is called, but it is an official. I mean, they all were certified. They had their patches on their lab coats.
Don't you're gonna scare me to death. There's too many honey professionals here looking. They can see that on camera.
This came out of the Flow Hive, so I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm gonna put my sticker on this.
It did come out of the Flow. You're right.
I'm gonna put my sticker over this Nature's Image Farm. I might win something out of this.
There you go.
Whoa, Brian.
Pass it back to me like the Yaya Sisterhood, because I want to enter my competition too.
Yeah. Well, a funny story. I was walking around and there's this famous young lady beekeeper that goes by Natalee, and Natalee handed off a bottle of honey to me, and I could not help it. I mean, just right then and there, I had to taste it. cracked that thing open, took a little bit of taste. Absolutely delicious. And I said, how far away from Brian are you? And, she would kind of talk about it. I said, Brian sent me a jar of honey, and I thought, this ain't too bad. Brian, I hate to rub this in, buddy, but Natalee's got you beat by a mile if I was judging that one. She got the blue ribbon all day long.
Yappy, we're done with you now.
I had a
it's been real.
Next.
Nice to see.
I met a lady there. Her name is Robin Martins. I don't know if you guys met her or not. But I don't know if you can even see the picture over there, but she won a blue ribbon. You probably can't see it. She won a blue ribbon. She's from Oregon, and she won a blue ribbon in the honey oatmeal bread competition, which I'm not sure if that's an competition category or if it's a baked goods.
Yeah.
But I think she's a fairly new beekeeper, just a couple of years, and she was super excited. But she came up and I know she met me, and she may have met us all at the at our booth. I can't remember, but it was kind of cool to see that. She's all the way from Oregon, just excited to be there, excited to see everybody. And then she won that competition. She came up and told me about it. She was so excited about it, and I was excited for her. But maybe they have it. I don't know if they had a baked goods competition or what the actual
I think it was something made
category
with
was.
honey.
Probably so baked goods made with honey or something. But she was so excited. So it's just so much fun to see people carrying those ribbons around and excited about it. But next year I might just have to try and do something. But like I said, whenever I do something like that, I am ultra competitive, and I'll spend way too much time trying. And then if I don't win anything, I don't know if I get mad, but I just am like, I want to win something if I'm gonna put the effort into it. But I'm almost too competitive, so it's best sometimes not to enter. But maybe I'll try and do something. At least you could do the black jar because you just pour it in there.
Going to someplace like that would be way more competitive because they're all beekeepers. Where at like the county fairs,
Russell
3 jars of honey.
Yeah, Russell Koopman got the second place. That's right. He got the second place.
Nice job, Russell. That's cool.
Awesome.
I actually got some of Russell. He last year and this year both. He gave me some of his creamed honey, lemon honey. It's really good. And I purchased some. I tried some of Byron Ferris's creamed honey as well. Man, that stuff. I tasted it. I had to buy a jar of it because it
was really good. Our friend Ricky Warwick, horizontalbees.com, Ruth brought over some whipped honey butter.
He was like, Mom,
gosh.
this is
that
mine.
sounds good.
That was Brian. If there was a class or category that would absolutely just intimidate you to enter, what would it be?
Man, I tell you, I would probably, and this Yappy, don't be getting don't think that I'm copying you, but it probably would be this right here, the candles, because when he's talking about the lines and that, like, I sit there and spend all the time, and you get the right rubber bands, so the right pressure and all that, whatever. And I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm like, there's a huge line straight through that candle. So I don't even think I would mess with this. The honey, I think also, like, I didn't know everything that goes into a honey competition. And then I'm sitting there and I'm looking at some of mine and I'm like, oh yeah, that isn't gonna work out.
That's kind of what I thought.
In there's so yeah, I don't know, but probably
somebody said they got disqualified for a smudge on their jar.
Yeah, it's so picky. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah.
But when you got 160 entries or what, I mean, it's like you got to be picky or else
you got to weed them out.
What, Susie? What would you be more intimidated of entering in for competition?
I would have definitely said the honey, just because first of all, I was telling, I think it was Jennifer King. Me and Tim were talking, Tim McCandless, and we were saying something. Man, I didn't know there was like 3 jars you had to bring, because I almost contemplated bringing some. And then I'm like looking through, I'm like, where are all the rules? And she goes, well, they were right there. And I'm like, hello, those aren't made for ADHD people. I need bullet points. I need like bulleted rule guideline of like, don't put it in paragraphs. I don't want to have to read 4 pages to figure out what I need to do. And it was totally like that. I was like, I'm out.
There's
some pretty good videos on that particular type of judging. That's how I kind of got all crazy when I entered that one contest. I watched some videos, and there's a lady that actually is a judge for that. I can't remember what kind of judges it is. It's like a big thing, but there's a lady who is that kind of a judge, and she has a channel where she talks about how to win. You know, she's
Oh.
how to win. And so I went down that rabbit hole one day a few years back, and she talks about the different types of entries in those kind of competitions and how to do it. And man, there's so many little things that you have to do to win.
Yeah. Well, don't you think it's a paralysis by analysis though? Like you get so far in and you're like, I can't win this. I'm just not going to even try.
Yeah. But a lot of people enjoyed it. Apparently a lot of people enjoy it because there were a lot of entries.
There was a lot of entries.
But you know, you can't have any honey on the lid. You've got to keep the honey off the lid, and it's all just got to be perfect.
That's what I heard. Yeah, they disqualified you for the lid. There was a smudge on the jar. That guy got disqualified. I did hear that.
Looks like Hale Hives got second because of a smudge. Yeah. You know what's so cool is when you hear these names of the folks that are winning or even getting smudges, it's so cool because they're a part of the community. They're in the fold. They're in the circle. It's
part of this group right here.
You know what absolutely terrifies me? Like if there was probably the best tasting, because that is like, how do you have the best tasting?
Yeah.
But when I think about all of the honey and the honey products, one of the things that yes, we know how to do it, but I don't feel like we've even come close to mastering is rendering wax. Like making the most beautiful wax blocks or bulk wax that is the perfect color, the perfect texture, the shape. That to me is the absolutely most intimidating, I think, out of all of it to enter into the competition. And tonight, our last guest to share his blue ribbon Hive Life experience is the one and only Jamey Wynn.
Hey, I just was talking about you, Jamey. I was just talking about you, man.
How are you all?
Dream tonight. How are you?
Hey, Jamey.
Good. Can y'all hear me good?
We got you.
You sound great. The burning question is, did you take your blue ribbon and put it on the back of the pickup truck and just drive laps around town square like for the last 3 days just to really show it off?
Well, I didn't want to get it dirty, so I kept it clean. I kept it inside the truck.
Tell us about your blue ribbon experience at Hive Life, Jamey.
Well, it started out whenever I poured my first one. That was actually the best one out of those 7 that I poured, which kind of threw me for a loop for a minute. But the first one I poured was the best one that I'd got out of those 7. But we also had the nieces and nephew come up to stay the night. So I made sure to tuck it back in the cabinet to where they couldn't get a hold of it. So once they left, we took them back home, the next day. I'd opened up that cabinet and I went to pull it out, but I was the one to mess it up. It wasn't the kids, it was me. Whenever I reached back in there, I pulled the block out and I hit it up against the side of the cabinet. So I knew from then, I needed to start over because I had an impression in the side of the block. So that's whenever I started pouring more. And then it seems like every one that I poured after that, there was always something wrong with it. You would either see some fuzz in the top of it, and it's no secret, it's just determination. So what I'd filter through was like sweater material. So whenever I had filtered that out, I had some of that fuzz that was on top of that block, so I knew that one wasn't going to work. But really having a mentor that you can go to and ask questions to helps out a lot. So that helped me out a whole lot. But I was really surprised once they called my name, because as me and my wife went to the conference, I didn't have no hopes of winning anything. I didn't think we was going to get anything. So, whenever they called my name, it really caught me by surprise. So, but, God gave me the determination to be able to keep going at it. So really, I give the blue ribbon to him. So
that's awesome.
That's
right. That is awesome.
What's Mrs. Wynn think about the award-winning block of wax?
I wouldn't say that she acted surprised, really, but she's always on my side with everything, and I'm sure she didn't have a shadow of a doubt, with the entire thing. But she was excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it was great to get to meet meet both of you there, and to know you a little before, and then to see your Facebook post with the blue ribbon and the hunk of wax. You're always like, oh, it's you're rooting for everybody, but when it's someone you know or call a friend, and then you see them win, that's just that's all the better. What's in store for this year for Sweet Harlan honeybees?
Probably my goal is not to get over 60.
Hear that, Brian?
That's probably my goal. But right now we have about 40. We sold NUCS last year. I might have sold maybe about 20 something NUCS. And we produce honey, of course. But I think I really want to stay around about 50 colonies is what I want to do.
Nice.
Wow.
That's too much as it is, but I guess you have to have about 50 colonies to be able to fill up that thorn extractor we just got. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So next year, now you're like, everyone's going to be looking around. Is Jamey bringing wax? They're going to say, is Rollyn bringing that honey? Everyone's going to be hearing footsteps, looking out to see those blue ribbon winners coming up there. Jamey, where can folks find more about Sweet Harlan honeybees?
Well, I have a YouTube channel, but I don't have any content or anything on there right now. But mainly we just use Facebook for right now.
Awesome. Well, I know we're all looking forward to seeing what you guys do, and trying to get some sneak peeks to see, are the Wynns bringing their wax this year or not? Everyone's going to be kind of spying and seeing, okay, who's doing what? Try to put their plan together for next year. What'd you guys think of Hive Life this year?
Oh, it was just awesome. It just like last year. And it was just overwhelming. Last year we thought it was overwhelming, but walking into it this year, it was really overwhelming. It was just awesome, and being able to meet like you, and I spoke to Bruce outside. Really didn't get to see Brian much. I guess he might have went to the corner and fell asleep for a second.
I enjoyed talking to you about the self-serve box that you put up out there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jamey and I have been in contact during the year about some different things, the self-serve box, and also a couple of other items. And so it was kind of good I may have talked to you a little bit last year, but this year it was nice to kind of know who you were a little bit more, because we've talked several times during the year, via Messenger than anything else. But so that was pretty cool, man, to talk to you. And we talked probably 5 or 10 minutes out there, and then you came up to me after you won the wax competition, and we talked some more. I think we maybe talked a couple of times, and that was just really cool. A couple of folks I met that I knew, that I like I say, the Robin lady won the competition, and then you won that ribbon, and then some others that I knew. So it's kind of cool to see the names in here and to kind of get to know folks, and then see them actually win those prizes. That's really neat. Maybe I do need to enter something next year. I don't know what, but maybe I'll try.
Oh yeah. I mean,
doesn't hurt to try. Yeah.
I mean, the determination, that's what's going to help you win. It's just staying at it. If you see something wrong with it, do it again.
Yeah.
It's just sticking to it. And if I would have read the rules just a little bit better, I might would have figured out that we were supposed to take the tamper-proof seals off of the honey jars, the extracted categories. I left every one of mine on. So,
oh wow,
yeah, I didn't. I just read the rules down to about this far instead of that far.
Bullet points. I'm telling you, bullet point.
Back to them bullet points, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. So, Jamey, hey, thanks for taking a little time away from the family tonight to share with us your blue ribbon experience there. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what the Wynns do with the Sweet Harlan honeybees. So thanks again for joining us tonight. We're looking forward to catching up with you a little bit later on.
Yeah, thank you all.
Appreciate you.
Thanks,
Y'all have a good night.
You too, man.
Thank you much.
Can you imagine that? To me, that's just, those categories are just, it scares the tar out of me. They even thinking.
I don't know.
Yeah, they all scare me. Yeah. Maybe I'll try some next year though.
Well, guys, I know we've still got we've got about 20 minutes still left. I wondered, Brian, you for folks who didn't know, Brian was at a wedding and drove all the way through the night.
Not just any wedding.
His son's wedding, his only son's wedding, and drove straight through the night just to get down to the Hive Life conference, to see the folks, to shake the hands, to be a part of all that. Brian, tell us what this blur has meant to you.
I tell you, I knew it was going to be a blur. Let me see if I can find a picture of me looking halfway dressed. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh
wow!
You clean up nice, Brian. You clean up nice, man.
I'm halfway dressed there, but no, I knew it would be a blur. I mean, it just everything kind of, everything I guess was going to happen on that one weekend. So the wedding went off great. I mean, it just from the ceremony to the reception, everything was awesome. And I got out of home about, it was 10 p.m. and got down there at 6 and crashed for like an hour and then cruised over. And it was like a blur. I mean, I have to say thank you, because if I did not have like that constant supply of whatever energy drink I was drinking, I have no clue what it was. I would kind of walk over, and when like a zombie, and when the energy was dipping out, and I'd be like, is there another one of them energy drinks? And I'd pound that down, and then I was on a high again. But like going back to what like Bruce was saying, and like Yappy, I'm sure just gets it every time he goes to a conference and probably anywhere. I truly was blown away this year with the number of people that stopped me and took pictures and signed a couple hats and signed a couple shirts. And it just, that like kind of caught me sometimes, because I'm like, this is nuts. And when I got there in the morning, the next thing I realized, it was like 11:30 already, and I had looked and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I know I ducked out at one point and went down and I looked at the honey show and things like that just to get away from the crowd, but it's that's the first time I've ever like really experienced that. And to have so many people come up and they watch the videos, and it just really blew me away. I mean, that's the first time, honestly. Like last year there were a couple, but this year was different, and I knew it was going to be a blur. And it's like you said, there's that dedication, but I wanted to go down and meet everybody, and I did. I met so many awesome people, got to meet Stan and just all kind of other people. So it was just, I wouldn't change it. I would do it again. If I had to do it again and drive overnight to come down to Hive Life, I would. It's just, it meant that much, just to meet everybody and shake everybody's hand. And it's just, Hive Life is a very special conference, and it's just, yeah, I could go on all night, but yeah.
I have to say, because you weren't there the first evening and then the second day, so many people, because we had the hives that you gave us for the booth.
Yeah.
People would say, where's Brian? And I'd say, well, his son's getting married, so he'll be here, but not till the last day. Or, hey, come swing back on the last day, maybe if you want him to sign your hive or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was so great, because so many people would say, oh, I really love this, the lives, or, the stream team's awesome, or, they just enjoy you guys so much. And I am always off because the internets around here are hard. So I don't have time to then go back and watch it later. I would watch it live, of course, if I could, but I don't. So it was so cool to have so many people that enjoy, they would buy Bruce's honey, or they would buy your hive, or they'd, thank me for your guys' commitment to being here every week. And it was fun to hear from those people and shake their hands and see how much they love you guys.
Yeah. I do have to say, Beehive Homestead right there, Jarrett, opened up, the hotel that he had. That's where I crashed. And, it just, I talked to Jarrett on here, online. I met him last year when I was working down in Virginia, and, it just speaks volumes for the community in that, he booked, he got his ticket and booked the hotel for, down at the Hive Life conference. And he was like, dude, if you don't have a room yet, I got a hotel. It's got 2 queens. And when he heard that I was driving down, he said, I put your name on the reservation, just come on up. And, so, I mean, he just opened up the door. And so, yeah, Jared, I have to thank you again. So that was
Sweet.
so awesome to just open up the door and come on and crash. So
That's awesome. It's definitely a testament to your not only dedication, but your commitment that you have to not just only the stream team, but your fans, your followers, your friends, the community. So Brian, it meant an awful lot to a lot of folks that you still made it down. A lot of folks wouldn't have. So that's awesome. Yappy, as you've had a few days to kind of try to decompress and scoop your brains off the side of the road and reformat them to make cognitive sentences. What was Hive Life for Yappy? What did that look like? What did that mean to you?
It was a pretty good time. Things were going well, and then I kind of lost my mind. Now, last year was really pretty cool because that was actually other than the Alabama conference, anything big that I'd ever gone to. And when Brian was talking about the walking around and people coming up to you, they recognize you. They see us in these videos and they just know us so well, our sense of humors and so many things about us. And then, you walk into a room and the people are coming up. There's a guy out of Texas his name's Stan Gore. And I've known Stan for years, man. I mean, he followed me back to when, I was first started helping out adminning in a Facebook group. And, he's just always been a great guy. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, I'm walking down the aisle over there and I look over and I caught the name tag, and it has his name on there. And I went, are you kidding me? Stan Gore's here. And there was one lady that came from Sweden.
Yasmin,
and God bless her. I mean, she had such a good time. But she'd come up and she said, Yappy, can I take a picture with you? And I said, of course, yes, come on. And she said, now, would it be okay that I post it on my Facebook page? And I'm like, sure, Jimmy, post it anywhere but in OnlyFans. I don't care. So, man, it's humbling. It's such an honor that you impact people to a degree that they actually they think enough of you that they want that opportunity to say hello to you, shake your hand, and it's even more interesting to see. And I think this is the most beautiful thing is when somebody walks by and they tug their spouse's shirt and they go, "That's Yappy,"
Yeah.
And it's just humbling. But this year, it was just more of the same thing. And last year, I was a little more reserved on the Yappy thing. I mean, I kind of walked around. I got to see a lot of people, got to shake hands. Man, this year it was like, I'm cool with Yappy. I stood back there at Greg's, his little area, and they had the Hives for Heroes guys right there next to it. We had Premier Bee right next to them, and all three are just people that I'm still good friends with. If we could have just got Terry Chapman to be right next to that.
Yeah, Jason was right there too. Jason was right there too. So to everybody. So.
Robin Laurie.
Robin Laurie. Right next to us.
Yeah, you guys did great with Jason. You put a buffer, I think. You know, it was just enough buffer with Jason where it was like, you know, what too close, but he was far enough. I would assume far enough away to every time I'm like, Frank, you know, or I was yelling for Steve.
Thank you for that, by the way, because that's in so many of the interviews. It's
perfect. Every time we were trying to interview.
It's amazing to relive.
You guys didn't see what I saw though, because that poor booth directly across from us, Hives for Heroes was at diagonal, and then Premier. The booth directly across from us, I think they thought all of y'all were insane.
Can you imagine? They got thrown right in the middle.
Was that Paul Kelly?
No, it was a little.
It was blue
insurance thingy. No, it wasn't insurance
or stickers.
Oh, the label lady.
Label lady. Sorry, label lady.
Stuff. Yeah, and they had. Yeah, I didn't catch the name, but it was They had. Oh my God, we paid for this spot too.
We paid for this.
Too late to get a refund.
Now look, there was a lot going on, so we
they left fast, quick, and in a hurry
because of how well last year went. We made it a point that we wanted to be grouped up with the same folks again, and so we intentionally had us, Premier, and we wanted Hives for Heroes, Rob and Lori to all be right in the same corner. That for mostly selfish reasons, so we're not constantly leaving our booths to go say hi, how you doing, what's up. So we were all right there in the same spot, and it created such a beautiful dynamic because every piece of that complements each other. All of our storylines have unfolded, and we've all been intertwined with that. As you go down the hall, of course, you've got you had Jason at Bohemian. The list goes on. There were so many just beautiful things that happen when everything's intertwined like that, but it created such an interesting and fun dynamic. It was awesome having Yappy, right there hanging out in our booth the entire time. It ended up being like a hot spot, and it was so cool. And I got to share you one little story because you are going to hear it in nearly every single interview. And at first, I wasn't sure what the commotion was. We've got our friends at Hives for Heroes were right across the way. You had Steve Jimenez, Matt Booth, Craig Midget. You had the Colonel McMaster, Stan Gore, Bev Gore. Yappy was kind of going in and out of there too. And, every 18 seconds, it seemed like you would hear someone just beating the snot out of a cowbell. And I would look over and I'm thinking, I don't know what this zany approach is, but it must be something.
It wasn't dinner either.
It wasn't dinner, and I finally went over there and found out that when somebody signed up to be a mentor or a newbie, they rang the bell in their honor. And once I heard that, every time I heard that, it was awesome. So now every interview that you guys hear coming out, when you hear that cowbell, just know that someone has dedicated and committed to be a mentor or a newbie. That's a big deal, and I think that was awesome that they did it like that. It was really, really cool. So you had them, it was just the typical Saturday Night Live jokes, constantly more cowbell. I've got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell, and it's just boom, 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 just constant. It was a really awesome time. So it was a beautiful pairing altogether. So that was pretty cool. And it was neat to have Yappy in there yelling for Frank all the time. And if you don't know who Frank is, I guess the shoe guru was at our booth, and he must have beat me to the footage. But I want you to stay tuned for our very first Hive Live interview coming out. Will be featuring the Yappy Beeman himself and a very, very special guest, that likes of which you've never seen before.
I'm not going to show a picture then. I have a picture.
Oh, save it.
No.
This I'm not going to say that.
But let me give you a little background on Frank, okay?
Needs to learn how to use the bathroom.
Yeah, he's not potty trained.
That's beside the point, okay? You don't take such spirit, all right, and have to confine it to bathroom for.
We need him as our mascot.
All right. So Terry Chapman gets a hold of a 628 Dirt Rooster one day, and he says, "Hey, bud, we booked a fishing charter coming out of Biloxi. Get some of the YouTube guys that you can, whatever you want, but man, just bring some friends. We're going fishing." And so I get a text message from Randy. Says, "I know you probably not, but how would you like to go fishing?" And I'm like, "What?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Down in Biloxi, out in the ocean. You want to go fishing?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm there." I didn't know anything else other than my buddy called me, said, "We're going fishing on a charter boat. And we're going to go catch some fish out in the ocean." I'm going, "Hey, we're there." So I leave out Saturday about midday, drive so long, finally got to the spot, stop, slept for a couple hours so that I could time it right and, be full yappy and all. Ended up, drove down, got there about, it had been about an hour so early. So I drive down to Walmart. I'm going, Yappy's got to have something going on here, right? So I go to Walmart and I buy a fishing pole that literally is that big. Maybe about that big. All right. It's got Paw Patrol on it. Okay. It comes with a little plastic fish.
We own one of those.
I bought me a Paw Patrol fishing pole.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I brought that with, and I had a few other things. We had a ball. Well, the captain of the boat's name was Frank. And so we're in there. We're doing a bunch of different things and just having a ball. And I'm sitting there and I'm videoing, and Mr. Ed's there, and Randy's there, and Lee's there, and Dan, the B-Man guy with the kids' books there, and Terry's there with his dad and his brother, and then there's Frank. Frank's driving the boat, so I'm like just full yappy, and it's like all of a sudden blah 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 and everything, and I turn around and go, "Frank!" And Frank, I'm telling you, you want to talk about the ultimate fishing captain in the world. This guy just rolled right with it. I mean, he's older than Bruce. Okay.
Really?
And he just, so we had an absolute best time, but there were people when we got back that were like, "Frank, we were worried about you. We heard somebody yelling your name. We thought you fell overboard." We were 13 miles out, okay? People were worried about Frank falling over because people were yelling his name. So anyway, he just, pulling that boat in going. But anyway, man, there's some videos out there of it. But so then this particular came into my life thing. Mm-hmm. And what a better suited name but Frank. So there's y'all be telling people in there oh yeah, I broke a fishing pole. Yeah, we broke a fishing pole. I caught shark was yelled out very loud. So then multiple times. I caught 2 sharks, by the way. 2. All right. 2. I caught fish on the Paw Patrol fishing pole. It's in the video. But anyway, all that fun and excitement. Great time. And I'm still going to sing the praises for Terry and his family for what they did for us and had a good time with all that. But so since this particular thing came into my life and it needed a name so that I could remember, when I get older, I call it Frank. Only because if I called it Shark, it would sound really kind of even more weird. But but yeah.
The more.
Oh, by the way, Brian, you still owe me that. You still owe me that $500 from when we were at Hive Life, and you were kind of like saying something about. Yeah, you still owe me that $500. You were a little bit groggy, but I went ahead and I lent it to you anyway.
I wasn't
so
that groggy.
Now you're getting. See, this is why this is probably the only reason why folks are hanging on this late, is they wanted to know why the name Frank. What is going on with the Frank?
Oh, you guys, tune in the next time when you get to meet Yappy and Frank.
The dynamic duo like you have never seen before.
I can say out of everybody in this room, even in the comments section, I'm going to give you this. If you can prove that you have impressed Frederick Dunn, if you can prove it, all right, I'll autograph your hat.
Yep.
But
That is no easy feat.
No.
I will promise you,
The shrew
Frederick
guru.
Dunn, okay,
Yep.
if he'll tell the truth, we have it on camera, actually. We
Yeah,
can
we do.
prove that Frederick
2
Dunn,
cameras, matter of fact. Actually, 3 cameras.
left channel, right channel.
And Fred's camera.
I impressed Fred Dunn.
Where do we go from here? I mean, now it's
I don't know. Oh, I know where I'm going with it. Are you ready? I have a secret.
Oh, Yappy has a secret.
And if I tell you, it's still going to be a secret, but you'll know I've got a secret.
It's just us 4. It's just there's only a few of us on.
It's just
What?
Your
Five.
secret's safe.
5.
All right.
Go
So
5.
We're one, but we're unified in holy matrimony.
now this might be embarrassing. All right, we've got 130 people in here. So if you're all seriously, actually, all 130 of you paying attention right now, you guys are the first to hear about this. Okay.
Are you letting it go? You're not letting it go tonight.
No. I'm not letting it know. The hint.
Okay, drop if you want to know if you guys want to figure this out, drop a comment that says hint and let's see if Yappy will give you a hint on the super top secret, double secret. Secret.
I'm not seeing no hints coming up.
Yeah, there ain't no hints.
Maybe they don't
Where
want
is-
to know.
I'll type it.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they
One
don't.
person.
There we go. They're coming
One
in now.
person.
We got
Whoa.
hints.
Oh, that's right.
Must be
Yeah, we
slow
are. Yeah.
internet.
There
Oh,
it
there
is.
they are. Okay,
Yeah.
somebody
Second.
said the sleepy faces.
They're coming in now.
I mean,
I'm
this
looking at-
this
Brian
this
wants
is
to
such
see
a
it.
no.
He
I'm
said hint.
I'm not playing. I'm not name dropping, and I'm not playing a Yappy card. But this secret is a secret like of which has never been seen. It's bigly. It's huge.
Bigly.
Everyone is going to tell Yappy how big of a deal this is.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm really wanting to kind of poll your audience. Okay, all 126 of them. Shoot, we dropped 4 people just because I turned around and was going to make an announcement. Oh, now there's
On it, Yappy.
there goes 2
That's
more.
That's what they're looking at them dropping like flies. They just come
Everybody's bedtime was 10 o'clock and you went to 10:02. That's why.
Oh,
I
is
just-
that what
yeah,
it
I've
was?
been
shift
yawning
change.
for 2 hours.
on. Give it a minute. Yeah, Bruce.
All right.
Bruce is staying awake. We're doing okay.
And the
I'm
reason
kind
why,
of a-
the reason why,
Hold
I'm
together,
serious,
Bruce. We're almost
the reason why
through.
I waited this late. I waited this late because people who truly care about you guys, all right, who enjoy the show,
Yeah,
are the
that's right.
ones that are still here. So, you guys,
You have to whisper it though. Whisper it. Don't say
I know. I'll say this: if anybody can guess what I'm gonna do, I will make sure that person will be the
Ooh.
first subscriber.
What?
Personally,
Subscriber.
they can always say they were the first subscriber. Now, you tell me. What do we got?
Subscriber. Uh-oh.
See,
Everybody's saying
this
yeah.
is where
It's
we're
gotta
gonna
be a-
wait
it's
for-
gotta be-
we're
it's gotta
gonna
be a
wait
new
for it
cha-
to get to them.
Got to be a new channel. A new
They
channel.
say Yappy for
Lee.
president.
Yappy,
Yeah.
I know something.
Ooh,
I'll
that's
tell you
I
what,
like
Jason's
this.
on the right
Let's
track.
do this. Let's do
Jason's
this.
on
Let's
the
do
right track.
Yappy barbecue.
MJ. Ooh, MJ. No, MJ got it. I am actually very soon to be launching a second channel.
Whoop whoop. 2 channels.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, Brian,
Nice
what's the little
job.
fireworks thing? Come on, Brian.
Come on, Brian. I wanted more from that.
Yeah,
Where's
really.
all the ribbons
I'm
and
exploding with
confetti?
uncontrollable excitement on the inside.
Let me
Yeah.
You know what? I'll raise a toast. The Yappy's new channel.
Wait, listen, Greg and
That
I,
was so good.
Greg, literally, you killed me because earlier today you had actually made a comment in a conversation about Greg. He literally came out and he said, "So when are you going to start a Yappy barbecue channel?" And I'm sitting in the back going, "All right, now I got to tell Greg. Now I got to tell Greg." And everybody seriously is in there like throwing Yappy barbecue in there. You have literally got everybody convinced I was going to have a Yappy barbecue channel.
Oh wow! I wonder if the new. So who? I wonder if we.
It won't let me do it.
Oh come on! We have to give him something.
Oh man!
No
Put
ribbons.
hashtag hint. Put hashtag hint.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. I just want to see myself with.
I was going to say
There's like
Castle
3
Hive games
people in
have
here.
a lot.
Big winner!
That's funny right there.
There it is. Winner.
Jason can win something or not.
What you want to win
He
is
won his scally hat back.
he wants. I'm going to give you a little secret. Here's a little. We're going to tie it all together. The secret is what Jason just won is burnt ends,
Oh,
masterfully smoked by Yappy in Warwick, Maryland, at next year's BBQ.
ooh!
I just wrote a check that Yappy can't cash. You're welcome.
Yeah, you did. That's all right. I'm gonna call Frank and see if Frank's got any money.
Frank.
No, now listen. Now here's the thought. Okay, y'all tell me what you think. My content is more of a shock value to a lot more people that have subscribed that aren't beekeepers than that are beekeepers, and in that content, I create what makes me happy in a storyline that makes sense to me with sometimes one camera, sometimes 3, sometimes cool music, sometimes not. I've learned that it doesn't matter what I do. Somebody's going to complain and 10 people are going to say that was awesome, best video ever. And I love every comment that comes out there. I really do. And no, I'm not coming to Warwick, Maryland.
Should we
if I
guess
got to come
what
up
this
there,
new channel content's going to be? Because if so, I vote. I'm torn between Nerf Wars or Yappy's Minecraft adventures.
oh, come on,
My
dude.
boys would watch either.
I'm so Nerf Wars right now. It ain't even funny. We're setting up. So what we're setting up is the jungle warfare. All right. Since I'm out here, in the sticks of the very, very South Appalachians. But we're going to kind of go Rambo style. All right. We're going to literally get Nerf Wars. But at any point in time, you could have this giant wall of sticks just kill you. All right. For real. So,
Yappy, what I just heard is that the new channel is going to launch here very soon. And then in January of 2024, when there's this monstrous conference taking place, that will be like the first annual like Nerf gun war in the middle of Hive Life.
Oh yeah.
During Bob Benny's speech.
No. See, we can't have Bob Benny have a heart attack in the middle of speech because he would still be like turning his head, going, "What was that?" You know?
I'm impressed you guys have gotten past the fact that Yappy said jungle warfare. All I can see is Yappy literally running through the woods,
like camo,
camoed. He's tied back here, and nothing but like a deerskin loincloth, running through the woods with this big.
I was not imagining
big leather.
That. Stop.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Big leather
Hit him in the
glove.
back of the head for me right now.
Running through the woods with Frank on his arm, just ready to say, "Frank, sick him!" And then Frank darts off and just attacks the neck. I'm the only one that went there.
You lost me at loincloth.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Brian's trying to get it out of his eyes. He's trying to get the image out of his eyes.
Our buddy Roy Adams is so, and I could totally see Roy out there just.
Yeah, but no.
Oh yeah.
We just lost 17 people because of loincloth. Thank you very much.
Well,
yeah. Can't get. They're all like trying to go. They're running.
Go rinse your eyes out.
I guess they got what they paid for tonight.
Somebody did make the comment in there where I said shock value. You got to understand, everybody in here, we're all beekeepers. There's nothing shocking for the most part about, except for me in a loincloth, that about bees. My subscriber base really was built on a huge swarm hanging in a tree while I'm on top of my truck. And, it's bad enough that you guys see my content all the time. You know that, I'm not afraid of bees. I'm getting to the point where I'm building immunity to yellow jackets. What's really going to be fun is when I'm turning around and I'll put a little net on my face because, you just never get over that. But I'm telling you, I'm working up to becoming immune to yellow jackets where, I'll take the stings, but I'm almost to where I don't even swell when I get stung by yellow jackets. So they just, I'll have a hot, itchy, burny spot, but I don't swell anymore. Now, that being said, and I wish I'm not doing it on hornets. Yellow jackets I'll mess with. Hornets, forget about it. But the beekeeping base actually, I see a lot in the comments. They want longer videos, or they want updates on things. I get a lot of beekeeping questions in different things. So I'm not trying to get into a second channel into the community to do anything more or less or equal to what you guys do, what Bruce does, what Brian does. I want to be able to share thought processes on products out in the yard, give updates. I get a lot of people that want updates on, I've removed bees from this and then follow the progress of things, and just keep up with different colonies. How well did they do? And get a lot of thought process from that. Because I do so many removals, one of the biggest things that I can add to a community that's not just, how to make splits or how to, feed your bees when and where and everything else. But there's things about bees that I pay attention to that is on their level. Okay. Reading the bees, listening to the bees, and this one thing, I'll give you an example. This could be written in a book that I've just not read yet. And in a concept, I want to give you this. We all understand when bees generally don't care if we go in their box. And then we know that there's certain times of the year where it don't matter if you have, a literal woods fire going around you. There's not enough smoke to keep them from eating you up. But do you know why? And here's my theory. When they're in that box, all their pheromones creates a complete communications structure that keeps them happy. And as soon as we crack that lid open, or we introduce the smoke through the entranceway, it completely disrupts that entire communication process. We've literally taken all of their language out and just let it go off in the atmosphere. And they go into an immediate defensive mode to some degree, because they want to know, hey, who just come busting in my house and what's going on? And depending on how fast you do it, or, a few other things, time of the year, the amount of flow, you can either get eat up or maybe not. All right. There's a lot of times I don't smoke my bees, even when I go into them during the flow season. And I do certain things a certain way. These are some of the things that I've experienced that I want to maybe throw out there and share. It'll go somewhere it doesn't. It's just, if I put this stuff on my main channel, then it's really weird, because people want to see beehives in a wall, in a ceiling, shaking off the top of my truck. They want my little fun and humorousness in there, or some don't. And they're just waiting to see what happens next. But by the time you get to a certain point, I lose viewership in a video within moments after I show them a beehive. Crack open a wall, there's the bees, boom, they're gone. But then you've got a small percentage that says, hey, I wish this video was longer. All right. I'm making a second channel, not because I'm looking to get 150, 200,000, 500,000 subscribers. I'm not making this channel because I'm worried about whether or not I upload a video this week or if, I got it monetized. Everything helps, and we all want to share content, but we all hope that we can make a little bit of money at it. So yeah, at some point I will monetize it, but I want to add the just little things that would mean something to beekeepers and beekeepers alone. And if it helps to, if I put up a video this week, that's a great, I'm trying to put up content for a 4-H class of junior high students. I'm going to put that video out, and I'm not worried about it screwing up my algorithm. And, if people like it and, they watch it, great. If they don't like it and they want to leave, that's great too. But that's
Yappy is a multifaceted, and one of the, as you can tell, when you look at the guys like you who are known for cutouts and doing, all of those things, you put yourself in a category to where Brian's calling a timeout.
It's called a rip out.
Oh,
I stand corrected.
That's a really touchy thing with me right now, Brian. I can't listen. I impressed Fred Dunn, and I don't want to ruin that for right now. Okay, I'm just someday
rip out.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll have a conversation with Fred and say, hey, help me understand this rip out. I mean, when is it that you can't come out with the whole? Fred's usually, he's right on top of things. I mean, he's got his angles and he can loop back around, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, okay, fine. And I'm literally in this process of trying to figure out in the loop how's he gonna circle back to saying that a rip out is actually what it's supposed to be called.
Sounds like a
Yappy. Oh, it's a conundrum. It's because
Rip Snorton with Yappy is his new channel name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to Rip Out Bees with Yappy Beeman.
Oh my gosh.
The cool thing the cool thing about that is when folks see. Were you impressed?
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
You're used to seeing your rip outs, but there's so many aspects.
I'm not. No, I'm actually. Someone was asking me a question, but yes, I am almost asleep. Honestly, I stayed up till almost.
Let's rip this thing out.
I stayed up till almost 1 a.m. getting that video put up last night. So,
wow.
And I got up at 5. Well, I slept until 6 this morning. So I'm kind of. Anyway, I'm feeling it. But that's okay.
Well,
it's been fun.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do, Yappy. There's so many aspects and facets of Yappy. I'd say it's like peeling an onion, but that just makes you cry. But there's so many different layers to Yappy that until you have the pleasure of spending so much time with him, it's just one thing after another with Yappy that you're like, wow, he does this and this and this and this and this and this. Well, I almost said it. I'm looking forward to the interviews that we did, the time we spent on camera with Yappy. We are all going to get a deep dive that I don't think has ever been seen with Yappy the Bee Man. And I think his new channel is going to be a great spot to dig in there and see things, all things Yappy that may not just be centered around rip outs or things like that. It's going to be a much broader range. The only thing that you probably won't find, forgive me for speaking for you, Yappy, and I hate to do this to you.
Loincloths.
There may be loincloths, you never know. But I think the one thing that you won't find on Yappy's new channel is Yappy's mug. So that's going to be definitely a.
It was offered that if this thing makes the traveling pants circle, it was offered that somebody would give me a brand new Hives for Heroes cup.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
If I were to offer that up in a silent auction at the next Hive Life.
I think that's a fantastic idea that the Brotherhood.
Wait. You can think it all you want to. I didn't agree to it.
Well, right now I have the conch, so
Part owner.
it is what it is. It is official. The the Brotherhood of the Traveling Yappy Mug is coming to a city near you. Round and around it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Final destination, Sevierville, Tennessee, January 4th through 6th. Goes up for the silent auction to benefit the Youth Scholarship Fund.
I actually just thought of something that we need to do with that. We need to get, you know how, and not to keep, we could keep this going forever, but you know how when you went in and I didn't see it because I was literally there for my blur, but we had the map with the push pins. We need to have a map of where that mug goes and throw the push pins.
All right, take that little picture off your wall back there, Brian, or whoever's wall it is. Yeah, pull that thing down and put the map up there and start with the first push pin at Brian's or Greg's house, okay?
I actually have a map.
And then go to the string. Yeah, I want to follow the string, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get with my guy. Bruce, are you going to the conference down in Clanton?
I have not planned on it, but I'm not sure. I haven't committed either way yet.
Yeah,
the only conference I've ever been to is Hive Life, but I probably should do better.
Well, you know, it goes back to it's speakers and you know everything else. Randy came to it the last time in the fall, and absolutely loved hanging out up there. And that's actually where I met Steve from Hives for Heroes. Was that I went down, you know, the first evening, or got down there the first evening, and it was really great because after the first night of the conference, everybody had ended up meeting back at one of the hotels that had this gazebo and big parking lot, and man, it was just a beautiful time of fellowship and hanging out with so many people that you know and know you. Well, I was introduced to Steve through the state lead, they call it, but the state director that pairs people up, the mentees with the mentors.
Ken. Yeah,
through Ken. And you know, Steve and I started talking, and then it just kept going. And they were leaving out that night. I hated it for him, but they were actually just there. He was there for the one evening, and they had to drive all the way back to Texas that night. And how he did it, I don't know. But you know, it's great, even with the education you get at these things. But it's still great because when you show up, it's a smaller version of Hive Life. You know, in many ways, but it's still great to have all those connections. I really enjoyed it.
That's why Hive Life is not a family reunion. Hive Life is a homecoming. You may be reunited temporarily with this mug next year, but it's going to be amazing to see. This conversation is going to continue for many, many months. And next thing you know, we're going to be at Hive Life 2024. Guys, I want to thank you all individually for not just coming on here tonight, but being who you are every day of the week, doing what you do on your channels, doing what you do, all the things that you guys do to help folks behind the scenes, how you guys all collaborate, how you guys are all individually an enormous lighthouse to others. That's a big deal. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of things going on everywhere, where it's easy to tear people down. It's easy to take that low road, take those low shots at folks. But what I appreciate about you guys is you're doing what's right. You're helping folks out. You're being that lighthouse. You're being the change that you want to see, and so are all the folks at Hive Life, and that really makes all the difference in the world. That's what makes this community special. You have folks that show up and put in the work. They are putting in that solid hard work to make this special, not just for Hive Life and team, but for the community, and that is such an incredible thing. I want to thank everybody for just doing that, for being a part of this thing. As Bruce calls it, a movement. I'm looking forward to seeing how the next year unfolds. There have been so many things that have been the result and the consequence, the positive consequence of us working together, collaborating, being there for each other, lifting each other up, showing each other love, instead of taking the low road and taking shots and doing all those things. That's easy for a lot of folks to do. So I appreciate you guys and everything that you guys do. I want to thank everyone who's listens tonight, who's been listening all year. Looking forward to just keeping this conversation going. And that's the challenge, is don't just let the spirit of community and collaboration fizzle out because Hive Life is over. Let's keep this up. Let's keep doing better. Let's keep working together. Let's keep this thing moving forward. And I think that's what this is all about. I got to thank Larry Lee's Bees. He is en route in the airport, finally trying to get back home. He got caught up in that terrible traffic control situation there. Thank you for the super chat. Guys, you guys have any final words before we close it out? Yappy?
Well, I could say so many things and not actually even include the mug, but thank you guys for having me on and just let me hang out with you. I threw my thanks in the comments to everybody that was in here. It's so nice to see the support that you guys are getting and the growth. I mean, I remember it was not long ago where as things went on, it was kind of a 60 to 80, pushing maybe 90 on your viewership. And I mean, there's times in here where just on a regular night with Yappy on and you're hitting 160, 70 viewers at a time. I mean, things are growing here, and it's really great because there's so many different aspects of beekeeping that are advancing it, but they're still they're coming together, and you connect one organization to one group of guys to one YouTuber, and it's beautiful. But I very much appreciate your time, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. Thanks for making this thing special. Bruce, any final thoughts?
It's been fun. I'm still trying to recover, I think, as we all are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Right now, honestly, this coming up weekend, we're going to be getting the bees on clean pallets. Next Monday night, they're shipping out. So it's here. And after that happens, then I'll start really focusing on the production colonies that are left behind, those that are a little bit sick, or a little bit weak that didn't make it, and see where we're at. And in a few, just a few short weeks, it's going to be just right back at it, man. I'm really excited about it. I think last year I probably learned more about being use the word intentional with my bees, although I didn't live up to what I probably should have. This year I'm going to focus on being intentional, but maybe more efficient. And I've got some ideas of how to do that. I'm going to kind of go try to hang out with Tyler down here that's so efficient with his bees, and maybe come visit some other folks. I really would like to get around the country and visit some folks. I talked to some people like that I want to, like Gus and Corey Stevens and you, Greg, and just some different people I'd like to just go hang out with and see how you're working your bees. And I've got some local guys right here that I can go hang out with some too and learn from them. And so I might start it there, but looking forward to seeing what happens, both with the bees and with the channel. I've really tried to put a lot of effort into upping my game with the channel a little bit. And hopefully you guys see I'm posting a lot. I actually got a new computer so I can edit at work. I take the computer to work with me. So that's how I've been able to do it at lunchtime. Not during work, but at lunchtime. I'm supposed to be seeing patients. I'm not doing it, but during lunch, I pretty much grab my lunch and I sit down and an hour a day, that adds up, and I can at least get a video started, or get 2 or 3 days, usually get a video mostly edited, and then just do some touch up and post at the night or whatever. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm super excited. 3 or 4 months ago I was burned out and just about done. I think that happens to all of us. But now I'm stoked and ready to go again and fired up to get going. And I was so encouraged Monday when I got on those bees and saw how strong some of those bees are and how happy they were. And so I'm zipping back and forth. I'm going to post a short up either tonight or tomorrow of how the bees were just flying back and forth between the hives and the food. It was something to behold. So, but I'm excited, man. Looking forward to it. I think we can keep growing this community and hopefully helping folks out. And I know I did sign up at Hive Life for Hives for Heroes. So that's another something I'm going to uncover. And a couple of people asked me how to do that. And I hope they match me up with someone. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I look forward to, we have this base right here close to us. I look forward to opening up that new chapter and seeing where that goes. And hopefully I won't lead anyone astray, but I look forward to kind of opening up that new chapter and just seeing where it takes us.
That's great. Thanks for doing that, Bruce. Brian, any final thoughts, final words before we cut loose?
No, not really. I mean, I just, I'll just piggyback off a little bit what Yappy said. I mean, the community that we have here is just, it's truly, it's amazing. We see a little bit of it. We get more or less exposed in the whole year. If you look at the whole entire year, we're exposed. We just have a fraction of it. Hive Life, and what we've been able to do over the last year, and just Mike Berry, he sent us that huge text that one time, and that we all have that Hive Life experience, and then we've just kind of kept it going, and it is a movement. Bruce says it's a Hive Life movement. It truly is. I mean, but just thinking about what happened at this conference, how many people we met last year, and now this year it's like you're catching up, and hey, how have things been? And there's so many friendships and just so many bonds have been made. It's just it's just amazing, and I can think back to when I used to do live streams and there was just a couple people, and when we very first started this, people are asking where we want to go with this, what do we want to do with this, and just connecting the community, and it's happening. The community is growing, we're all helping each other, we're all growing, we're all learning together. So just it's amazing, so
that's awesome. Susie, final words?
I just love following. Everybody's following the journey. I think that's what's so fun last year from this year, that everybody kept commenting how they enjoy coming right along with you guys and following with you and the journeys that you guys are all on. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we're all on our own journeys, but we're all kind of a part of that together. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring that lighthouse hive with the hive that went through the storm, that was a part of our journey, part of our story. It was awesome to be able to bring that to Hive Life and use that as one of the podcast desks. That was a cool thing. Everyone's included. We're all a part of this thing together, and that's what I think makes this thing so special. So I'm really looking forward to the Hive Life Homecoming 2024 and seeing all of our friends. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
We'll talk more in the coming weeks about what we're doing to get ready for spring, what our plans are for the summer and fall. It is a time of year, though, if you are in this neck of the woods, if you are considering buying bees, we'd love for you to give us a shot at naturesimagefarm.com. We've got NUCS packages in Queens on our website. Like we mentioned before, all of our NUCS and package customers, you have a free ride at the Learning Yard where we learn hands-on. We'll take this information and apply it right out in the field all together. We can all dig in, learn from each other, and also keep this local community moving forward. This is not a bee club. There's no politics. This is just beekeepers getting together for that fellowship, for that learning from each other, to build a local community. And if that is something that you're interested in, check out naturesimagefarm.com. We'd love to have you. And I guess, as always, I'll just remind you to be the lighthouse.
Be the change you want to see in this world.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.